Wendy Bell Radio is live.
We got haircuts.
Oh,
All I know is after I get a slight trim, because I'm growing it out. I know you guys care too. I look like a flower pot. So needless to say, nuclear fallout. And you look very handsome. Over
well,
there.
thank you.
Thank God she trimmed your ears too.
What? There's that backhanded.
I was like, "Are you gonna do
I'm going to
something?"
say something nice, but then I'm going to jab you in the back.
With the
What's that?
with the and then how about a little Hey, look, if I'm not at home to nag my husband, I have to nag you. What's going on, everybody? How are you? It's great to be with you. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I love your hair to both of you. Well, thank you. Green is 122.
I just told her to cut it short.
I love it. It's great to be with you. All right. So I've been using a product and I think it's something that you guys might be interested in. You've heard me talk about Smile before from the wellness company. This is their peptides instead of using fluoride, which has been proven to cause problems, learning problems with kids. And so we're trying to get it out of our lives and put peptides in. This is for gum erosion. Do you guys have that? I have 2 spots in my mouth where my gums are receding. And this product is, it's fantastic. Gum recession, it's not just cosmetic. Millions of people deal with bleeding gums. I've got tooth sensitivity. Ultimately, you can get tooth loss. And once gums start pulling back, most toothpastes do absolutely nothing to help. But Smile by the Wellness Company, it's a next generation toothpaste designed to support gum repair, strengthen your teeth, reduce sensitivity, and gently whiten your smile. It's powered by healing peptides like BPC 157, if you're familiar with this stuff. It's known for helping reduce inflammation and supporting the repair of gum and bone tissue. I have it. What's nice about this Smile is you can use it in conjunction with a perhaps super strong minty toothpaste if you prefer that, because it's really a very benign mint flavor. It's not like, wow, I've just, kissed a wintergreen mint. It's not like that. It's very nice. And the result for you will be stronger gums, healthier teeth, and a brighter smile. twc.health/Wendy. Use my name, Wendy, and you'll get 10% off. Smile is what it's called. I like it. Comes in a very handy pump. It's about this big. And I use it every day, twice a day.
I just stopped brushing my teeth.
You just stopped brushing your teeth. That's awesome.
I have a little receding down here from all the years of dipping.
Wow, it seems like there might be a product that you could use. I wonder if we could learn more about that. Yeah. Just spitballing. How's everybody? I made pork chops last night. The pork chops were phenomenal.
I got to watch her cook them.
Big, fat pork chops. Where you have to cook them. I cook them in oil. I fry them. So good. Fry them for a long time. Then I stuck them in the oven on like a warm as we went to go gallivant, get our hairs did. Pretty good. Sorry, Brock. I ate the last one this morning. I did.
I got to watch her make them.
There
that
is
was
nothing like
fun.
chewing on a pork chop bone. I'm sorry. There's something very savage about it, and I love it. And then Murphy's like, "No, nobody. This is what dogs die on. So I'm not going to be the one who kills you." Other than that, what's going on?
They looked good. They smelled good.
Yeah. Well, I asked you if you wanted one, and you said no. So
you weren't done cooking them.
Yeah, there was 4 on the plate on the thing you could have had. You could have had one of those. So I said, would you like one?
You told me you put them in the oven then, so I figured they weren't done.
No, to keep them warm because nobody was there eating them. Whatever, moron. So it's Friday. I've got to get it going. I got my groove on, baby. I do. I'm not really sure about this monologue, but I have some questions. I don't know. It might involve some interaction.
With who?
You. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, it means I got to pay attention.
No, not really.
Oh.
I love you guys. We were number 8 yesterday, which kind of sucks, but in the big realm of things, it really doesn't. Too often.
Okay. I'm rather you nag them
I
than me.
know. Okay, well, I'll nag everybody. Good morning, good afternoon.
Equal opportunist.
She didn't invite him at the right time. That's right. Varmint, yes.
I didn't say that.
You're right. No, it's
No,
cool.
so I got yelled at yesterday for saying that.
Hanson, Central Valley of California.
I did not say I was not invited.
Welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Death Metal Hermit. Looking beautiful today. Thank you. Thank you. I have some of my blue face oil, this blue calm face serum from my friends at Tulip Blooms. I put it on right here. My skin looked really splotchy, so I was like, let's see what this does. And I think it's evened it out nicely.
Oh yeah.
Oh shush.
What?
I'm gonna put a little bit more over here because it seems a little uneven. We'll monitor it together and see what happens. I'll do a live in real time ad for them. It's gonna look beautiful.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at me.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we are converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Greetings to all of you and happy Friday. What a wonderful day to broadcast live to all of you here on the Wendy Bell radio program. I'm Wendy. I'm a mom. I love this country and I like sharing that with you every single day. And the things we discuss, I think, are honest and open and common sense, and it's just not complicated, right? So let me be the easiest, low cost, low cal thing that happens to you today. We're going to talk about what's going on. John Solomon over at Just the News, he is predicting this Operation Total Transparency. He's saying that President Trump is declassifying a bunch of stuff and it's going to drop so that you and I get to make sense of what's been going on these last 12 years as the deep state has been trying to not just destroy him, but to take down America. Yes, kind of a big subject today. So Wendy Bell Radio, wherever you guys go, just get our app down on your phone, join the live video stream, and thank you so much for being a part of our families. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, one of the cool things about radio, about talk radio in general, is I get a lot of time to try to work through subjects, sometimes better than others. And I get to do this with you. And some of the things we talk about, many of you have far greater knowledge than I. Some of the things I bring up, I'm sure it's a first timer for you. You don't know what's going on and you hear something and you're like, Wherever you are on your knowledge spectrum, wherever you are in your enlightenment and awakening journey, pay close attention to the media and the desperation that they really are showing and trying to convince you what the real story that you should be thinking about is. Everything that the media pile on to talk about, almost assuredly, is not the thing that you and I should be focused on. We could examine, for example, one small little tidbit called Jeffrey Epstein, right? President Trump said, I don't know why we're wasting our time on this. The guy is dead. The victims have not wanted to come forward. If they had, we would have already been through all of this. What you're trying to do is attach me somehow to a human trafficker, to a child rapist, and you're not going to find a link. So you should probably move along. And they browbeat that story. like the piñata that it was, except no more Tootsie Rolls were in it, right? For how many years? Why is nobody ever talking about Thomas Crooks? Why was that guy the ultimate hot potato? How is it that a 20-year-old kid from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, which, Brock, how far away is that? 10 minutes from where we're broadcasting here in Pittsburgh?
Probably about 15.
15 minutes away from where Brock and I are sitting right now. A young man named Thomas Crooks, who kind of flew under the radar. Nobody paid attention to him, of course, until he made bomb threats against his school, which might have been sort of a red flag. I don't know. I'm not in law enforcement. But he was just kind of a nerd, I think. He was teased for perhaps not smelling the best. Maybe he wasn't the finest with his hygiene. He was extraordinarily smart. He got a perfect score on the ACT and a 1540 out of 1600 on the SAT. The guy was extraordinarily bright. What was he doing? Working as a nursing home aide while going to the range and shooting his father's AR-15, AK-47, whatever it was. Well, what was it about that guy? What was it about him in general? Why him? A registered Republican, but a young man who had given a donation, though small, to a progressive party. Why would he do that? How many of you know of 18 to 20-year-olds who give monetary donations to political parties or people? Like, what was that? Why was it that CNN streamed that July 13th, 2024 rally at the Butler Farm Complex in Pennsylvania, where I was with my husband? Why did CNN go that day? It was the hottest day, like we were sitting on the surface of the sun. There wasn't a whisper of wind. This location had very few places for people to hide from direct sunlight, very limited shade, no wind, temperatures out of control, humidity up. Why is it that CNN decided that day, that rally, when they had ignored all of President Trump's others? Why is that? Why was Thomas Crooks featured in a BlackRock commercial when he was in high school? Why was his home professionally scrubbed with no utensils in it? Why were there no utensils? Why was the head of the Secret Service such a ridiculous clown about why agents hadn't spotted this kid who everybody on the ground did? He walked in with a rifle over his shoulder. He rode a bike, parked the bike, crawled up a building, and laid on his belly to get position, and had previously searched for the distance between the gun and JFK's head on his computer. Nobody was flagged. Why was it that Crooks had no footprint on the internet, despite having 5 cell phones? Why did he have IEDs in his trunk? Why did the Secret Service know he was there 30 minutes before the event, saw him walk in, and cleared him to walk in with a rangefinder? And everybody was like, well, it makes sense to me. I don't know. When I go to a Trump rally, I usually, bring what? A bottle of water? And maybe something like that has a flag on it? He brought a rangefinder, and they're like, oh, go on through. I'm sure it's nothing. He's probably just chipping in the back. What? Why were there reports that there was a phone that traveled multiple times from the FBI field offices in Washington, D.C. to Thomas Crooks' home? Why? Why? And why has the media completely dropped it? Why did he all of a sudden have such ire for President Trump? He hadn't posted anything about that. He didn't leave any manifesto. There were no accomplices. He had no clear ideology. He acted alone. And literally, if you try to look for anything about Thomas Crooks, his Wikipedia page is negligible. And there's really been no conclusion to the investigation, which of course cost Secret Service Chief Kim Cheadle her job when she alleged that the slope was too slopey over on the building that Thomas Crooks was on, even though the Secret Service and had their snipers on a roof that was much more so. It made no freaking sense. Beyond that, if you went, and I was there was a dearth of security. Anybody could have walked in. Anybody could have not even crawled across a fence. They could have just literally walked into the environment where President Trump, who was ostensibly going to be the next president of the United States, was going to be speaking to a crowd of Pennsylvanians. Why? Everything about it sucked. Everything about how they handled it sucked. Everything about the curiosity of the media, which was zero. Where's the 60 Minutes investigation? Where are the citizen journalists doing deep dives into his footprint? Where's all of the NCIS stuff that you and I watched or did back in the day? Because none of it happened in this case when a 20-year-old kid tried to take out the president of the United States. And beyond that, was anybody else kind of curious about why they decided to hose off the rooftop so fast? And what happened to his body when they Lahaina crematorium style fire burned it? Why? Where are the interviews with his parents? Did you know he had a sister and her name is Catherine? I didn't. Why? You've got 60 Minutes. He'll travel around the world to do a story about something negative for this president, but they're not even remotely interested in the young man who quizzically decided one day just to take his rifle and go try to kill the leader-to-be of the free world. And we're all supposed to just be like, yeah, that was really weird. Oh, well, you want to go get a margarita? Makes no sense. What I believe is unraveling, and this is the thread that's being pulled, much like Eric Swalwell was the first little thread being pulled. It's going to unravel a whole tapestry of sexual deviance, drug abuse, human trafficking, and God knows what else among sitting members of Congress. So too is this entire deep state plot to not only destroy the United States of America, the one that you and I love, the one that how many of our friends and family members have died to protect for how many years? This deep state wanted to completely sink it and take down Donald Trump. That's coming out. So I have to ask you, seeing as how despondent Rosie O'Donnell was yesterday, that she had been conned by the alleged rapist, Eric Swalwell, conned by his charm and his cute little fatherly family guy, fake persona. How do you feel she's going to react when everything blows up and her favorite heroes are the ones who've been trying to destroy America? I don't know. Anyway, something I was chewing on, thought I would share it with you. Right? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Harry Enton, he's trying to worm his way back into my heart. He was a boyfriend, and then I broke up with him because it was ridiculous. But he's back. He's talking about older voters. How do they feel about this president? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Like, why? All of this stuff. And we weren't supposed to ask questions. Like, what did people think about at the range? What do you think people think about him at school? How about what happened to that cell phone? Why are these cell phones going back and forth to his house and then back to D.C.? Why? Why was he traveling to D.C.? Why didn't anybody care?
I have a question. Who do you think's the head of the deep state? Is it some bureaucrat we have no idea, or some rich person that we have no idea? I mean, we know all the operatives, but who's the puppet master of the puppet masters? That's my question.
See, I think it's Obama, but I wonder who his keeper was.
That's what I mean. I don't think it's him.
It's somebody above that or somebody below that, depending on how you look at it. I don't know. GLP-1 Gold, I talked about it last time, so I'm going to talk about it first this time. If you could take a capsule a day, right, and you could finally get over that hump of plateauing, there's nothing more frustrating, and I've watched my husband do it. I've watched him lose 40 pounds before, and somewhere in that journey, even Brock, somewhere in that journey, there's like this multi-day plateau where nothing happens, and you're like, I'm not doing anything. Why am I not losing more weight? This is so frustrating. What if there was something that could nudge you off of that plateau and keep the weight loss going? That's what this is from Juvenon, GLP-1 Gold. That's exactly what this product is designed to do. It is not for a casual 5 pounds. This is for somebody who's serious about taking off serious weight and keeping it off. This is going to help you. It's not some pharma product. You're not giving money to Albert Bourla or Pfizer, Moderna. This is Juvenon, and I trust Juvenon. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. What people usually notice isn't magic weight loss, but it's feeling full sooner, having fewer cravings, and then less nagging of like, eat some Skittles. I'm sorry. That's my weakness right now. And Joe bought a huge bin of them. They're like Jelly Bellies to me. Give me gummies, anything, gummy noodles, gummy worms, gummy fish. Okay. Now it's Skittles. GLP-1 Gold. Bloodflow7.com. It's great.
See, people are saying that the Rothschilds and I mean, does it come down to the banking?
He had no footprint on the internet, but he had 5 cell phones.
Sounds normal. That's typical.
If I was a prostitute, I wouldn't have 5 cell phones.
Jeez.
That was aggressive.
That escalated. Prostitution.
Can we get to 1.5? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, before we get into Harry Enton, who is telling us something that is very bad for the Democrats, if you believe polls, and you may not. I want to tell you this. President Trump says the Strait of Hormuz is open. Guys, it's been 10 days. 10 days. President Trump, under budget and ahead of schedule. There you go. I don't know about the budget part because I'm sure this offensive against Iran is going to cost a pretty penny, but it had to be done. Strait is open. Let's read what the president put out on Truth this morning. He says the Strait of Hormuz is completely open and ready for business and full passage, but the naval blockade will remain in full force and effect as it pertains to Iran only until such time as our transaction with Iran is 100% complete. The process should go very quickly in that most of the points are already negotiated. Thank you for your attention to this matter. After that, moments later, he says, now that the Hormuz Strait situation is over, I received a call from NATO asking if we would need any help. I told them to stay away unless they just want to load up their ships with oil. They were useless when needed. A paper tiger. So he's obviously, I think he's going to yank us. It's going to take a year for us to get out of NATO, but he's going to do it, I think. And then beyond that, he says that Iran has negotiated. They have agreed to all of the points in his plan, and that he perhaps as soon as this weekend is going to go and help perhaps negotiate the finality of this. But the big sticking point was Lebanon and Israel agreeing to some truce, some sit down, the first face-to-face between the two countries in something like 37 years. And the first time they together have been hosted at the White House, and I think that's happening today, in over half of a century. So this is going to be very interesting. Very interesting indeed. We'll see what ends up happening. Now out to Harry Enton. He says, look, polls tell us that Trump's approval is only 38%. However, if you look at how the GOP, when asked, how do you feel as a Republican about Donald Trump's job? The number goes to 88%. So there's a lot of disparity in the middle. Democrats don't like him at all. But you know who does? Apparently, one of the most important voter blocks, because they happen to be the most dedicated at showing up, senior citizens. Here's Harry.
Is because President Trump is more than holding his own amongst a very large portion of the electorate, a very reliable voting bloc, and that is senior citizens. Take a look here, okay? Trump's approval rating, age 65 plus. In March of 2025, 46%. Look at where it is now. It's basically the same. Seniors have not moved. He's at 44% now. And the key nugget here is, for all this talk about young people in the electorate, such as myself, or at least I like to include myself in that block, it turns out that older voters, senior citizens, vote in far larger numbers. So Republicans look at this number and they say, hey, you know what? We can actually potentially do some real damage, or at least hold our own in the midterms, because President Trump is holding his own with this very important voting bloc.
So how does that number 44% compare historically to other presidents?
Okay, this is where it gets even more interesting. It turns out if you look at all the 21st century second-term presidents, and you look at senior citizens, Trump actually has the best approval rating at this point in the second term of all of them. Donald Trump at 44%. Obama was under 40% at 39%. George W. Bush was way down there at 34%. So Donald Trump is beating other presidents this century at this point in their second term, beating all of them, and therefore, as I said, holding his own amongst a very key voting bloc. The President of the United States and the White House should like this number, especially compared to Obama, who Trump, of course, always likes to beat.
And if you talk about the midterms, as you know, the party in power typically loses the House. And so John Berman says, what are you seeing is voter preferences in this block of voters over the age of 65? Listen.
Oftentimes I ask myself, okay, you know, the president isn't obviously up for election this November, but Republicans in the House are. And so I think just making this comparison, right, you know, we've seen a lot of folks saying, oh, Republicans doom when it comes to the midterm elections. But just take a look at this, choice for election among age 65 plus. Back in November of 2024, Trump won that group by 1 point. We've seen some movement, but really not that much movement. Democrats ahead by 3 in the race for Congress. And as John and I were talking about, this could cost Republicans the House, but a number like this suggests to me that Republicans very, very well and are likely to hold the Senate. This is what we've seen in the polling data. When we look nationally, we see that the movement, simply put, isn't there. And when you get the most reliable voting bloc, basically Republicans holding their own with maybe some slight movement of Democrats, these are the types of numbers that I think Republicans have to be pleased with.
Well, and I think at a bigger scope here, one has to ask the question, do you believe these numbers, even when they show some kind of a positive edge for President Trump? I don't believe them because I don't know anybody. If I asked them, give me one example of something that happened in the last administration that was better than what's currently happening. Tell me one thing that the Democrats, the last time they were in charge, tell me one thing that they did that benefited America. Because you can't. Because it's not even close. And this isn't me sycophant, Wendy talking about this. This is me saying, that it's true. So everybody's like, well, typically the party in power loses the midterms, so we're going to do whatever we can to cheat for the midterms. I hope not. I hope that's not what the Democrats are trying to do. But in what world would anybody paying attention to what's going on right now? President Trump says Iran's going to make the deal. He says Lebanon and Israel are going to talk, right? He says all of this stuff, the stock market goes up 1,000 points. The cost of crude oil drops. And now you've got traffic moving through the Persian Gulf. God, I hate this guy. What are the Democrats going to complain about? What's left, honestly? What is left for them to harp on? I don't know what it is. What, the 11th scientist to be murdered or be missing? Yeah, you hear about that? 11 now. That's coming up later in the program. Trump is about to drop the binder, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. You dialed into the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So President Trump is saying now that Iran agreed to never close the strait again. That apparently they went out with a U.S. Navy escort, Iran did, and removed the remaining mines that they've placed in the strait.
That's thanks to NATO.
And that there's a 10-day Israel-Lebanon ceasefire that's holding.
Netanyahu under control.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately going to have to happen. I don't disagree with you. I don't trust Netanyahu at all. At all. And their ability to have intelligence, it was the Israeli intelligence that got us the information about Maduro. It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Israeli intelligence, that got us the information about these Iranian the Ayatollah and all of the top henchmen of the regime, that they were all going to meet and have this breakfast meeting, blah, blah, blah. That was Israeli intelligence that got us that information. They're sneaky, and it makes you a little nervous, right? Because anybody who can do anything like that to someone else can do it to you. So I don't know. Let's talk about Healthy Cell. I'm just going to say this. I love Blood Flow 7 because it helps me sleep. Some nights I just can't, for whatever reason. My mind is moving and I can't stop it. And on nights like that, I take Healthy Cell's REM sleep. And I would say, more than having a NyQuil in your house, some kind of a sleeping pill or something like that, why not take a microgel that's healthy for you, that has ingredients that work, including magnesium, because we know it works, that comes in a gel formula that isn't gross, it doesn't taste horrible, and within 30 to 45 minutes, I'll say 30 minutes, you can feel that you walk into another dimension and you just relax. And you know that it's time to brush your teeth, wash your face, put on your jammies, and go to bed. And then you're done. And you sleep. And you sleep beautifully. I'm just going to say, having it on hand, when you know you've got something to do the next day and it's midnight and you're like, oh my gosh, I've just got to go to bed, fall asleep. Healthycell.com/Wendy. They've got so many different formulations, but I'm super hot on REM sleep this week. Super, super hot on REM sleep this week. Healthycell.com, 165% more absorbed into your body, right? What a genius. Whoever came up with that is totally genius. And by the way, some people have a hard time taking pills. I get it. So you don't have to worry about it with this. It's fantastic. And having it in your house just makes you feel, whew. I just gave a box to Ryan. He's been having trouble sleeping at school. And so when he was going back to school, I was like, here, you got to take this, when he flew in for my birthday. And he's like, oh, thanks, Mom. Works. And you don't feel like you're hungover the next day, which is brilliant.
I
All
get
right.
about 15 minutes when I take one.
You what?
Takes me about 15 minutes.
About 15 minutes. I can see it. Well, this is the perfect parlay into cbdistillery.com. This is the last day of what I believe has been their most significant sale yet with us. And you can see it on your screen, up to 60% off everything in the store. This is stuff that helps you sleep, stuff for pain relief, and also for anxiety, calming down your anxiety. All of these products, they are green. There's no fillers. There's no garbage like gets stuck in these things. It's all clean herbal help. It's fantastic. cbdistillery.com. Promo code Rumble. And they're fast. They've got 2 million satisfied customers. Here, I'll get back to where I'm actually supposed to talk about them instead of talking out of my ears. This is one of their biggest sales of the entire year. Save up to 60% off and everything when you use the promo code Rumble. It's a great time to stock up or buy for people you love down the road. This is premium quality CBD, nothing artificial, no fillers, just clean plant-based solutions that work. So if you're tossing and turning at night, you'd enjoy a little more calm, or you just want a more natural way to support your body, now is the time to try CBD from CB Distillery, cbdistillery.com, promo code Rumble. This story I'm going to read you in the third hour about this next scientist, like a 34-year-old lady, uber bright, obviously, who's studying technology, anti-gravity technology. She's found in a suicide. Suicide was weird because just before she...
Was that with a gunshot wound to the back of her head?
That's exactly right. That's where the knife was found in her back. She killed herself. Right? And so then they're like, well, maybe it was. Right before she died, she was like, look, I don't want to die. She was fearful that she was going to die. That's awful. So she killed herself. Right. Just like Thomas Crooks just kind of randomly woke up that day and was like, I think I'm going to go kill the president.
Sounds like a good day.
and flew a drone over it. Nobody noticed it. But the FBI didn't. They're like, what? Why would we do that? There's Thomas Crooks, right? I mean, honest to God, a 5-year-old could have gotten up on that thing. And then people were like, hey, police people. I honestly believe that President Trump is about to do it. He's about to do what he wanted to do on January 20th of 2021. He declassified the Crossfire Hurricane binder, made copies of it for the media. He was ready to drop it all as he was walking out the door with all of, the classified documents he didn't have that they were trying to tell him that he had, right? And he was going to disseminate this to all the people, and they were like, no! And they pulled back all of the binders except one. And I think that's why they raided Mar-a-Lago. I think they were trying to find that binder. All of the information that President Trump clearly had about Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and Clapper and Comey and Schiff and all of them. How it happened, how they made up this story of Russian collusion. So disgusting, so disgraceful, so obvious. I believe that President Trump is about to declassify this Crossfire Hurricane, Russia stuff. And that's going to allow President Trump's Department of Justice to make this grand conspiracy case in Miami and expose the deep state actors who tried to overthrow the American government and unseat a sitting president. I mean, I want you just to think about what I just said. To expose the deep state actors who tried to overthrow the American government and unseat a sitting president. What did they tell you January 6th was? Remember, it was an outrage. It was an absolute disgusting moment of American shame. All these people, they wanted to get in there and they were going to overthrow the government. Oh my gosh, throw them away. And you're like, how many of them had weapons on them? Oh, that's right, zero. How many of them were violent? Well, if you look at any of the video and you see all the confidential FBI agents undercover who went into the room wearing their uniforms and came out kind of MAGA decked up, only to be pushing on the crowd, ginning up the anger, right? For everybody to be like, oh, it's an insurrection. What are they going to say when all this stuff comes out? Is it going to get the Thomas Crooks? Well, I'm not really interested in that story. Let's talk more about Jeffrey Epstein. This is it. Did you guys know that the whistleblower in the case of the phone call with President Trump and Vladimir Zelensky wasn't even on the call? Did you know that? Did you know that Eric Charmella, who they tried so hard to protect, he wasn't even the dude on the call? Do you know who the dude on the call was? Well, there were a couple of them. One of them was Alexander Vindman, pencil lip twerp, who tried to make business deals with Ukraine. Didn't he act like he's some defense contractor because he's Ukrainian? And now he's running to fill Marco Rubio's seat in the Senate. Like, right? You are such a danger to our country, Mr. Vindman. I don't care about your military service. So this whistleblower, Eric Charmella, he heard hearsay secondhand. This is like you and me playing telephone when we were in the 3rd grade as we were braiding each other's hair and I had my neck gear on and all the rubber bands on my braces. Yeah. This is sort of like that. Whisper, whisper, whisper. And by the time it gets to the end, it's this ridiculous story. Yeah, that's what this was, except it wasn't just some harmless game that Wendy wants Brad Fleischer to kiss her. It's that President Trump is a Russian asset. Like, what? What are we doing? I want you to hear this. So this is just the news. I'm going to read you this because Representative Jim Jordan, chairman of the House Committee on the Judiciary, has disclosed to Just the News that the House of Representatives, where Trump was impeached during his first term, over that phone call with Zelensky, is moving to expunge that impeachment from the congressional record. It was all based on garbage. It was the same thing as January 6th. We have to create a scenario in which the media can be outraged. Oh my gosh. And we can then perpetrate this storyline that's not true at all, but it runs cover for us so we can continue doing what we're doing to overthrow the government and try to kill Donald Trump. I mean, other than that, I've got nothing today. You need a majority vote. We need a bill, and it's actually something we're looking at, Jordan said, to basically purge the congressional record of this impeachment. On Monday, Just the News was the first to report on classified secret memos from the 2019 Ukraine whistleblower scandal, which revealed that the CIA analyst accuser, I should say, who was identified as Eric Charmella, admitted having no direct knowledge of Trump's private comments or communications with Zelensky, basing the complaint entirely on hearsay and second or third hand accounts. The latest disclosures also document Charmella's potential political bias, including his status as a registered Democrat who'd worked closely with Vice President Joe Biden on Ukraine policy, including traveling with him and discussing the dismissal of Ukrainian Prosecutor General Yuri Lutsenko, who was probing Burisma, the corporation that was paying Biden's son, who we never talked to at all about his overseas business dealings, Hunter millions of dollars. Right? The memos also revealed Charamella's dislike for Republicans, including former Representative Devin Nunes and Kash Patel, and his prior procedural contact with Representative Adam Schiff's the California staff, where he initially omitted from the official disclosure form before apologizing. He never said that he ran to Adam Schiff's office and said, you know what, I heard from this other guy who heard from another guy that President Trump was asking Zelensky to dig up dirt on Joe Biden. I think we should totally try to get him. It was from that Schiff's office created this whole thing, you guys. This is why his neck is feeling very tight right now. There was another supporting witness, some NSA official and a co-author of the controversial 2016 intelligence community assessment. You guys, they created fake intel to create a fake story, to fakely go after the president for what they say didn't happen, which is why he released the transcripts and they impeached him anyway. And a bundle of Republicans went along with it. That is the definition of your deep state. That's exactly what it is. These are the people who want to overthrow the government, right? Who want to sink what we have in this country and want to do permanently away with President Trump. 86-47. Ah, seashells in the sand. I want you to hear Tulsi Gabbard. She was on News Nation yesterday, and she's like, look, we've released hundreds of pages of transcripts that prove the phone call, the whistleblower who wasn't even on the call, but was likely flagged by Alexander Vindman, who ran to Adam Schiff on House Intelligence, where they concocted this story about Russian collusion. And Nancy Pelosi set the wheels in motion of a wrap-up smear to beat all others.
The documents that we released really pointed to the fact that the 2019 impeachment occurred because there were members of the intelligence community working directly with House Democrats, specifically Adam Schiff, who's on the House Intelligence Committee at the time, concocting this narrative, weaponizing the whistleblower process, lying and abusing their power, all to create this manufactured basis that Nancy Pelosi then used to drive this impeachment against Donald Trump in 2019.
Honestly, when have they told the truth about anything? Is there honestly a story that the Democrats put out there that's honest? No. So I'm sorry, but I simply cannot believe that the pundits, the people, who bet on such matters, say that the Democrats are going to take back all these seats in the House in the midterms. Why? Who would prefer what they do? They're treasonous, traitorous, freaking rats. And this is John Solomon, Just the News. He's talking to Benny Johnson, and he's like, look, you're about to see. This is why I say to you, this binder of Crossfire Hurricane, all of the players, all of the details, everything is about to come out. And John Solomon says, you're about to see a release of classified documents that is going to make your head spin. Listen.
I think we're going to call, I'm going to give a code name. I know the FBI likes code names, so I'm going to make one up today. I think the President of the United States in the next couple of weeks will announce an operation. I would call the code name Hypersonic Clarity, we're going to get a level of transparency in a release and declassification of documents unparalleled in American history. The president's setting up something that I think will be unbelievable. There will be a speed of lightning, a speed of sound to release of documents. And those documents will help this prosecutorial team in Miami that's doing this hard work to not have to do secret proceedings and secret classified proceedings, because the documents will be unclassified. The public will have transparency. The prosecutors will have. That will make it easier, I think, for the prosecutors to find the bad guys and sort the good guys from the bad guys out without having to have months and years of secret proceedings, what are called Secrecy Act hearings, which slow everything down. They're going to ungum the trail, and things are going to move quickly. I do think there will be some accountability. There'll never be enough for what we went through the last 12 years. We were deprived of a fair election because of this meddling in these PSYOP operations. We've been kept from information about vulnerabilities in our election system, which I'm going to have some good stories on that next week. But transparency can speed the prosecutorial accountability project. It's something that the deep state did well to keep Bill Barr from achieving before 2020. I don't think this Justice Department is going to fall for that. I think there'll be a speed of disclosure and a speed of prosecution that we didn't see in past years. The grand conspiracy case will be the ultimate thing. Can they make that? To get a grand conspiracy, Benny, you're going to have to do what prosecutors do when they take down a mob boss, right? Remember, they had to flip Sammy the Bull to get the Gambino family. They're going to have to take a capo in this intelligence law enforcement machinery and flip them. And if you get one big name person and you flip them, maybe a deputy FBI director, a senior FBI official, a senior intelligence council official, and you say, hey, we'll make a deal with the devil because you're going to testify up and down, I think they make that conspiracy case in a powerful way, and this begins to change very quickly. So keep an eye. Those are the things I'm watching for as a reporter in the next few weeks.
Wow.
Like what? And you walk away and you're like, okay, well, thanks for the update. No, my face was like, what? All of this. Who are they going to flip? Who do you think they're going to flip? Who's the one person who has every single thing to gain by talking and nothing at all to lose? Eric Swalwell. Don't you believe? Right? Don't you think that that is exactly what's going on? And if you're Eric Swalwell and you're like, look, I've cheated on my wife. She's not going to take me back unless she's a total idiot. My kids are going to grow up hating me. I have no job. I have no talent. Nobody's going to touch me because I'm an accused rapist, which is, it should be the scarlet letter that racist ended up being. It should have been rapist. What am I going to do? And all of these people have thrown him under the bus. You don't think he's vindictive? You don't think he's sitting there making tally sheets, being like, how many times has Ruben Gallego tried to say that he should have known better, right? They're going to flip Eric freaking Swalwell and present something that is just... When we come back, I want to dig a little bit into this one audio soundbite. It's one of the most perfect 1 minute and 11-second examples of exactly what you and I have gone through over the last 10 years, plus a little bit more on this Alexander Vindman. He's kind of like Eric Swalwell, a useful idiot until he's not. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Don't you think, Brock?
I do.
100%. 100%. He's got nothing to lose, guys. Everything to gain.
They
he's
haven't
like
let him win the
full immunity. He's the one who gets dragged through the mud. He comes out of it somehow. I don't know where he's going to end up, but something will happen. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I want to tell you guys about collagen. I've been talking more and more about it with other people. And this isn't just a chick thing. I used to think of collagen as people who would get injections in their lips or what have you. It's not like that. Collagen is so beneficial to you. So beneficial for your skin health because it improves elasticity. Again, so when you start seeing the crepey skin or sagging skin, I like to think that the collagen I'm taking from getnativepath.com/Wendy is benefiting me. Reduces wrinkles. Studies show that 1 to 12 grams daily for 4 to 12 weeks boosts dermal collagen production. I'm already doing that, drinking it every day. And I drink 10 grams every single day with one of these little scoopers of the collagen peptides from Get Native Path. Wendy. How about joint pain? It eases osteoarthritis symptoms and stiffness by supporting cartilage. Effects may take 3 to 5 months. Well, when you're getting 45 up to 45% off your collagen peptides, it's like pennies on the day. Okay, I'll give it 4 to 5 months. How about bone density? Shows age-related loss, especially in postmenopausal women, increasing mineral density up to 7% over 12 months. All right, I'm thin. I'm probably prone to osteoarthritis and osteoporosis. Bingo. It's flavorless. You can't smell it. You sprinkle it in your water, your coffee, whatever you have. Put it in your cereal and your yogurt and get your collagen and get it from getnativepath.com/Wendy. Huge discount. And everything those people make, I'm down with. They're one of those companies. It's like CB Distillery. If their name is on it, I'm like, I trust them. It's kind of nice. You don't have to question it. Getnativepath.com/. I want to stop this. I really want to stop it. And so I'm going to be, look at that. I know. How you doing? Maybe not. I'm drinking it right now. Ruben Gallego's having a bad week. Ruben Gallego was the dude who was shooting that video of Eric Swalwell doing that on the bed with the prostitute.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, if you look at his shoes, it would be quite a coincidence that two men would have such bad taste in footwear, but anywho. They're just like big clunky Nikes, big black. And I don't like Nike, so they're the sponsor of freaking Tennessee. Jags. Can't Lululemon or somebody go in?
I don't think they're any better.
Lululemon?
Yeah.
Why? You think they're very... Are they political?
No, they just got for forever.
What?
Dyes or something like that. They just got sued for something.
Huh. I didn't know that. Your specificity is dazzling.
Well, I read it a couple weeks ago. Wow.
Oh, I love Fridays. Oh, I love fighting with you. Right? How are the Rumbles? You guys, do we have 2,000 Rumbles? We need 2,000 Rumbles. That's like, come on. That's full stop. Let's go. This guy who's best friends with Eric Swalwell can't distance himself from the toxic waste dumpster fire that is that. And if you believe what we believe, that if John Solomon is correct, and ultimately this great declassification and uber transparency push by this president to basically tell the American people what really happened with Crossfire Hurricane, how this whole Russia collusion nonsense came to be. And how many loser deep staters out there ran with it? How many media outlets exhaustively covered it? I mean, 8 million Facebook posts in 2 years on it. They decide, or so they think, what the news is. Meantime, when they're quiet about something and show no intellectual or journalistic curiosity about it whatsoever, you have to kind of sit back and be like, huh, that's interesting. Thomas Crooks. All right, so Jason Meister is a gentleman who's a Trump advisory board member. I'm going to bookmark this, save this audio soundbite. This isn't recent, I don't believe. I heard it a while ago, and it might have been months ago. He's on Newsmax. But this guy, Jason Meister, says that what happened to President Trump was a planned coup to overthrow the government in 2016. You know, you and I talk about 2020. because we tell the truth about elections and such. And it was crappy from the beginning. We all know that. The plan was to do this in 2016 until you showed up and you voted for Donald Trump. Here's Jason Meister on Newsmax.
It should shake every single American in their shoes. I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016. We must, absolutely must, hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history. James Comey, John Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Biden was in the meeting in July 28th in the Oval Office. They briefed Barack Obama on Hillary Clinton's plan to, quote, tie Trump to Russia collusion lies. It consumed our national discourse for 5 years. It undermined a sitting duly elected president. It sabotaged administration. It framed a three-star general. It destroyed and ripped this country apart. We had a constitutional crisis, the likes of which I don't think any American can fully comprehend. It is atrocious, and every single one of them must be held accountable.
Yeah, and of course, that is the most important 1 minute and 11 seconds you're going to hear today. That Barack Obama was the tip of the spear of this seditious conspiracy. And when you start paying attention, you see that the Democrats, the deep state Democrats, like to accuse their opponents of doing exactly what they're doing. It's the same sort of philosophy that's long been attributed to Karl Marx, whether he actually ever really said, you know, keep people off balance by accusing your enemy of doing exactly what you're doing while you're doing it. Well, this is what's going on. They accuse the January Sixers, people who just came across the country, drove across the country, some of them from as far away as Alaska, because they believed that they knew what was at stake. And they believed that they had a constitutional right and duty to demand redress from their elected representatives. And instead of being able to be heard and having these senators and congresspeople stop the process in 2020 and say, wait a minute, this country is not unified on this verdict of who the president is. There's too many unanswered questions. It created a storyline, trapped thousands of innocent people, led to the deaths of several, including Matthew Perna, who hanged himself, all because he walked through the Capitol building. It took him 14 minutes. He didn't destroy anything. He didn't set anything on fire. He walked through holding a flag in some pictures, excited to see the most beautiful thing, the People's House. And then they went after him. And they destroyed him and he killed himself. This is not something that we can just Thomas Crooks away and just let be buried somewhere in the archives, along with the lost ark in the closing scene. This is something that President Trump has to make front and center. And if John Solomon is correct, that moment is fast approaching. What say you, Mr. Swalwell? Where have you been? With whom are you speaking? It's time to get your popcorn. Let's hope. When we come back, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program, got to talk about Ruben Gallego, the senator, bestie of Eric Swalwell, because his walls are closing in real fast next. I don't know, guys. I'm just a mom. I got no intel. I know Alexander Vindman's a filthy scumbag. I know that he was in on that call. He was working for the NSA at the time. And it was probably him and somebody else who they've protected, but I think that person's identity is going to come out, who went and told Eric Charmella, who then ran to Adam Schiff. Like, if Adam Schiff is your phone a friend, you're a scumbag. I'm just going to say, you have no moral character. You just don't. And it is from that Adam Schiff concocted with Barack Obama and Hillary and Comey and Clapper and Strzok and Page and all these other idiots, Lisa Monaco, they created and perpetuated on the American people, on the world, a story of complete fabrication.
I wouldn't hold your breath on Barack getting arrested because he can just claim presidential immunity.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I think there will be a day, and I hope it is in my lifetime, that when you go into the World Book Encyclopedia and you search these people's names, that next to it is an asterisk next to which it says disgraced. Disgraced.
At this point, I don't feel we'll ever get what we want, which is handcuffs. But the transparency would let us know the truth.
100%.
So we can judge. I mean, once you know the truth about people, you tend not to listen to them.
I want to tell you guys about Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed. Honestly, when was the last time you replaced any of the mattresses in your house? And you know what's so gross? And I have the protective covers on mine. We had our original mattress, Joe and I had when we got married, and we never lived together. So when we got married, that was the first time that we lived under the same roof, which is wild. After, 10 years, our mattress was 1,050 pounds. Guys, you know that? Because you have skin cells that get into the mattress and then it gets heavy. It's disgusting. It's disgusting, right? So you try to get rid of your mattress and it's like, oh my gosh, we need like a forklift or a crane. When you get a new mattress, it's so wonderful. You don't realize what you've been sacrificing. And if it's been 10 years since you've upgraded yours, consider Ghost Bed. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. They give you 101 nights to sleep on it. See what you think. The thing I like about it, the one that I have is hybrid. So it's got a firm base, but it's got a nice pillow top cover top on it, like a little pillow on top. It's wonderful. It's not squishy, but it's not hard. And just right. And it doesn't break the bank. And it gets to your house and you can even pay to have it set up. You can pay for the white glove concierge service and they'll bring it in your house, kick off their shoes, put it upstairs, wherever it is, downstairs where you have it, open it up for you. And then you just let it, give it 48 hours, give it 24 to 48 hours. Let it fluff. And then put your most wonderful cozy earth sheets and whatnot on it. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. Stop waking up feeling miserable. Stop it with the pain. It was created by a guy who suffered from chronic back and neck pain and surgeries. So he finally created his own mattress. Guaranteed for 101 nights. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. And that's going to give you an extra 10% off. They're already lowest prices of the season. I am this close to having a Charlie horse behind my right knee. Ugh. Oh my God. Huh?
My neck, I got a knot right here.
In your neck?
Yeah.
I can't see you, so he's like right here. I'm like, I don't want to know. I'm a little punchy today, guys. You know what I could go for?
Oh, here we go. French dip?
No.
Beer?
No, not even that.
Margarita?
No. Mm-mm. Barbecue chicken wings.
Oh.
See, I never have had, I never really thought I liked barbecue, like barbecue wings. Like, I'm a dry rub kind of girl. And then Brock and Jolene and Tom, Brock's brother, got wings and I sucked them all down.
I'm not going to say anything.
I literally was like this. I was wearing my white dress. You guys will see it because I'll dust it out from the, wintertime archives in a little bit. But I didn't get any schmuds on me, which is weird. But listen, I sucked down the whole damn thing like one of these.
There were 4 of us, and 3 of us had 0.
Well, you guys were talking, so I ate all of Jolene's sandwich. And all
we didn't want to get our fingers near there, for God's sakes. I remember standing outside. My brother bought all this food. And I'm like, who's going to eat all that? He's like, someone will eat it.
I ate it all.
I'm like, I watch her eat. I'm not hungry.
I had to have a little bit of a buzz on, but I don't know. I was hungry. I hadn't eaten.
You didn't just eat the wings. You ate the sandwich,
I know,
too. I've never seen you eat that much. I mean, it was like a fat kid on a cupcake. I mean, I was kind of impressed. I'm like, we could probably give the bone back. They could pack some chicken back on it. Yeah, it was eye-opening.
Well, I was hungry.
Hungry? I asked if she was pregnant. If she ate that much. I'm like, you're not pregnant, are you?
That's not very friendly. That would be a very interesting trick. Oh, my goodness. I love you guys.
We could regroup and get some.
That's right. We need to regroup. It's all fun and games while you laugh at me.
I think I had a little buzz on.
I don't know. Maybe the point that I couldn't remember maybe indicated that I
So
did.
she gets out of the car. I'm going to tell the whole story. My sister-in-law is driving, and we picked her up, and she gets out of the car. And apparently she's like, we'll regroup. Well, everybody leaves then, right?
I thought I was going into the bathroom, and I was going to come back out, and we were going to regroup and figure out where we were going next.
My brother turns to me and goes,
But these AARP homers were
my
like,
brother turns to me and goes,
regroup.
what does regroup mean? I'm like, I don't know. So we sat there for a couple minutes.
And I had to go to the bathroom, and then they left, and I came outside.
Who doesn't say, hey, I'm going to run in and go to the bathroom? Does anyone else need to use the bathroom?
Okay.
You got out, went inside.
Whatever.
Let's regroup. Not in your driveway. Like, and they're both looking at me. I'm like, what do you think? I don't know. He's like,
shut up
already. I'm going to sleep because it was like 8 o'clock.
I know. And you people, you're 1,000 years old. You're so much older than you really are. He yawns starting at 6 o'clock. Yawns incessantly. And I'm like, oh, geez, go home already. Stop. And it was his own birthday. And I was like, okay, go home.
I was in a lot of pain.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. You don't feel bad.
Yeah. A thing that you didn't go see a doctor about for 4 months. Oh, that's unfortunate. You don't actually really hate me.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared. You from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell Radio Program is live. By now, you've probably seen, at least if you're on social media, some of the videos, because I don't think the news is covering these videos. I'm not sure they are or not. I don't pay attention to them. But it's the video that I think did Eric Swalwell in. And as difficult as it is to hear whistleblowers come forward and share their stories of alleged sexual abuse, even rape, it was the video of Eric Swalwell with his hands around what we were later told was a prostitute, putting his hand across her breast and his other hand across her face, and falling back on the bed with her. And there's a person filming it, and there's a person filming the person filming it. So there's at least 4 people in the room. The person filming it, whose foot we see, seems like it's a lot like the same shoes that is seen in some of his photos, Senator Ruben Gallego. What does that mean to you? I don't know. It means that at least 2 married men were in a hotel room, ostensibly, and that Eric Swalwell was about to take advantage of a prostitute, and Ruben Gallego, again, a married man, was recording it. And that there was someone else in the room recording him, recording it. Ruben Gallego is not going to be able to survive this. And Anna Paulina Luna, who's done with all of the hemming and hawing of the old rhino class of Republicans, John Thune, who do nothing. Anna Paulina Luna tells CBS News that the other shoe is about to drop on Swalwell bestie Senator Ruben Gallego. You know, for the last few days, he has looked like a hot mess. He's been doing interviews in what almost appears to be a state of panic as he tries desperately to distance himself from his friend Eric Swalwell. But now he has an even bigger reason to sweat. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna of Florida appeared on CBS News last night on Major Garrett's program. He's a hack, but interesting that she appeared on his show, and implied that another bomb is about to drop in the Swalwell scandal, and it's aimed directly at Gallego. She also said that she has already referred the matter to Senate Majority Leader John Thune. So allegations come out about Swalwell because the deep state pulls the plug on him. He's a useful idiot. Nancy Pelosi created his star, ripped it away from him when he got a little too big and flew out over his skis and thought he was governor material. They have no intention of having Eric Swalwell be the governor of California. He's got other things he needed to do for her. And so they destroy his political star. And now the people in his orbit, who were even in the hotel room doing things they should not have been, ostensibly, are now getting caught into it. Here's Anna Paulina Luna telling Major Garrett, confirming the Senate is investigating what she calls, quote, very disturbing claims about sexual misconduct by the Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego.
On X, you posted the following, tagging Senate Majority Leader John Thune. It seems like the Senate has its own trash to take out. You, meaning Thune, need to look into the allegations against one of your senators. It's very disturbing. Who are we talking about?
We are talking about an Arizona senator that was very closely tied to Eric Swalwell, and I have since confirmed with Senator John Thune's chief of staff, as well as they're linking us to their ethics that they are investigating, and we are sending all appropriate information directly to them now.
That would be Ruben Gallego, correct?
Correct.
Correct. That would be Ruben Gallego. So one would ask themselves, well, what constitutes very disturbing claims, Congresswoman? And here's what she said.
Without, I guess, getting too graphic, there is a woman that allegedly is coming forward with attorneys, wants to go on record about an incident that occurred between the two of them at the same time, and the event was sexual in nature, allegedly. But it's not just that. There's also, too, apparently issues of campaign finance violations. Again, look, I am one member of Congress, but I'm not going to be like some of my colleagues that waited, forever and a day to bring this information forward. I think that if this is happening, that it needs to be dealt with. I'm definitely not in the Senate, but I think that Thune should probably take that seriously and look into it, especially given the nature of what's become apparent regarding Eric Swalwell.
It seems like cleaning house is sort of an overarching theme today. Whether it's cleaning house in the intelligence community or these threat assessments that President Trump ostensibly is going to declassify and drop on everybody so that we can see who exactly was behind this attempt to take him out and destroy this country. Cleaning house when it comes to alleged sexual predators who are roaming the halls of Congress. Like, of all places, I guess I don't understand the brazen nature of representing being one of 435 men or women in a country of 340 million. You are one of a speck of a handful who has the great honor and privilege to represent for a period of time people who put their trust in you. And you go into a situation and you allegedly drug women and have sex with them, sex that's so violent, they've got to go to the hospital. Anna Paulina Luna continues when Major Garrett asks her if she believes Ruben Gallego has committed crimes. I was not expecting this because she drops a bit of a bomb here. Listen.
Based on what you know, Congresswoman, does this sound to you, and you're not a prosecutor, neither am I, but does it sound to you that it's criminal in nature regarding Senator Gallego?
I think that if it involves people that were potentially trafficked, yes. Regarding the campaign finance violations, I think that that's cut and dry. But right now, I'm not investigating this. I'm simply presenting this information to the authorities that have the positions and power to do what they will with it. Part of the problem that we have in Washington currently is that a lot of this behavior was circulating publicly. People had heard about it, but they didn't present it to the appropriate authorities. And frankly, right now we have a slush fund that 3/4 of Congress voted to protect. We had to subpoena those records in House oversight, and we should be obtaining them next week. But again, that information belongs to the American people. If your taxpayer dollars to the tune of 18 million, which is I think the current number, are being used to cover sexual harassment, sexual assault settlements, that's not something that we should be paying for, and I definitely don't want to serve with these types of people. I understand too, playing devil's advocate, that people can make false allegations, but given, again, the stuff that's come out with Eric Swalwell, given the stuff involving potentially escorts involved, et cetera, again, I sent this information as soon as I got it to the appropriate authorities.
She says campaign finance allegations against Ruben Gallego, who allegedly dipped into campaign money to pay for his honeymoon in Puerto Rico. And Eric Swalwell did the same thing, so we're not surprised by that. She says that's kind of cut and dry, but this human trafficking, and I was like, wait, what? And a human trafficking of a sex worker. So what you're telling me is this is somebody who's doing something against their will, who's not from this country? What exactly does that mean? Well, Major Garrett at CBS News picks up on the word trafficking as well. Purchasing a woman for sex. And this is where Anna Paulina Luna hints that's why Corey Mills is being investigated by the House and why Gallego is being investigated in the Senate, buying women for sex. Listen.
And you mentioned the word trafficking. That carries a lot of weight in a lot of different ways, criminal and emotional. Do you believe sex trafficking is part of what this could be about?
I think any time that you are knowingly engaging in purchasing someone for sex, that is something that should be taken seriously. I've heard this now about a few members of Congress. One of them is under current investigation by House Ethics. I think that there's another one being opened up in the Senate. But yes, I would say that that's criminal in nature. Actually, right now in the United States, according to the Trafficking in Persons report that the State Department typically puts out, we're one of the worst countries in the world for that. And again, we don't know anything about these individuals. I mean, are they doing it on their own accord? Are they being forced? Are they being coerced? Again, though, most people don't have these types of allegations. Most people don't have these types of rumors floating around about their offices. And the problem that we're seeing right now is that there are a few people up here that are coming up here and they're not serving their constituents. And it should not be the expectation, nor should it be asked of us by either party to cover up for this type of behavior. And so I do applaud journalists that are asking questions on this, because I don't want to serve with these people. I don't think that they should be in positions of power. And I definitely don't like what I've seen in regards to how they've treated women specifically. It's actually really gross when you hear about it.
Holy cow. And she's going to sit down and speak with Catherine Herridge, who I love, later on, I believe in hour number 3. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, I have to share with you just a terribly sad story about a fallen star from a gentleman who was once lieutenant governor of his state to then a murder-suicide. Such a terribly common story, and we got to talk about it next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. There's a lot of deviants out there. Like, if, I don't know, I just think that then don't get married, right? If it's something that seems plausible to you that you're going to go and you're going to get a hooker.
Yeah.
Why are you married? Just don't be married. You don't have to be married. Right? I mean, I don't know. Is sex, is it all that? Is it sex money? Is it, I don't know. I don't get the fervor. I don't understand the insatiable need for that. I don't get it. But then again, I don't understand how anybody could sexualize a child. I don't understand. It's beyond. Texas Bullion Exchange is a company that I see in my future for as long as I live. This isn't just some fleet. You know, a lot of gold places They're kind of like surgeons, right? They're all hot and heavy for you until you have their service, and then they kind of ditch you and move along. You've got to follow up with somebody else. See, Texas Bullion Exchange, they're like your ultimate healer, right? They want to be a part of your life forever. They want to meet you. They want to hear about your goals. They want to hear about your questions, answer your questions, give you an education about gold vis-a-vis the gold standard and why getting into precious metals investing is so smart. And it's fun. It's actually enjoyable. They want to be with you and they want to be with your children. They want to help you acquire wealth, but also get peace of mind. And so they have something that's very unique where they protect the money that you spend and they guarantee you won't ever sell your gold or silver back to them for less than what you bought it for. You'll never lose money. It's kind of a bold thing to say, but that's how you keep. I got to figure out this chair. It's driving me freaking bananas. But it's nice to have a relationship with a company that you know is going to be there for the long haul and wants to work with your family and your kids. 855-927-5557. They're our main sponsor. This is the company that I trust and I've purchased gold and silver from repeatedly. So, well, maybe twice. This is probably not repeatedly, but twice. 855-927-5557. WendyLovesGold.com. Let them know that we sent you and that you're ready to get serious about at least getting your gold investment guide, wealth preservation guide, they call it. Get that in the mail. Looks like this. It's very simple. And it's got everything you need to know inside of it. I love them. I think they're great. They're super easy to talk to. You feel like you're not getting some runaround weird story with them. I love them. All right. This is sad. This is just, this one just.
UK and France set to lead multi-nation mission to protect peace in the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh, shut up.
Like, yeah, right? Like,
where have you been?
Newsflash, he's already said it. They've
That's
got a
why
deal.
he said beat it unless you're coming to get oil.
Oil's down to $83.
Wow. They're monitoring these gas stations that are gouging too.
Yep. Scott Besson.
Mm-hmm. Suck it. How about that? I like that. I voted for that. Well, we should totally get Democrats back in get them back in office. Like, really? Whoever would say that? Did you guys get 2 yet? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I think suicide is perhaps the most selfish act an individual can make. Right? And I know there are people out there who are hearing my voice right now or watching this live video stream who have very personal relationships with suicide. And it's awful. One of the things I've tried to say to my sons, I said, no matter what you think is so terrible right now, whatever you believe is insurmountable, honestly, do me one promise. Make me one promise. What's that, Mom? Give it 2 weeks. Give it 2 weeks. Whether it's a woman who breaks your heart, something terrible that you didn't expect that deeply wounds you, if you are ever so despondent, please give it 2 weeks. And then let me know. How important was that thing? The story about former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax reportedly killing his wife in the basement of their house with the kids home. And then going upstairs and turning the gun on himself is a stunning tale. And I want to read this to you. Multiple reports indicate former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax and his wife were found dead in the early hours of Thursday morning following a murder-suicide. The tragedy happened just after midnight in suburban Annandale, according to the Fairfax County Police Department. The 47-year-old Democrat shot his dentist wife, Serena Fairfax, in the basement of their residence before turning the gun on himself, according to police. There are reports that officers responded to the 8100 block of Guinevere Drive for a death investigation. Detectives confirmed they discovered a man and a woman dead inside. The report sets out the circumstances behind the deaths. The agency's preliminary findings indicate that 47-year-old Justin Fairfax shot his wife before turning the gun on himself, and police believe the murder happened in the basement of the home. And at some point after shooting his wife, Fairfax ran upstairs to the primary bedroom where he shot himself. He used the same gun. Police have not recovered it yet. The couple have 2 children. The kids were home at the time of the shooting. I'm going to presume, right? They're 10 years younger than I am, this couple, so let's presume their children are 10, maybe 10 and 12. I don't think it's a secret that there's been a divorce proceeding that has been ongoing here. From what we understand at this early stage, former Lieutenant Governor Fairfax was recently served divorce papers, obviously, associated with an upcoming court proceeding. They're apparently led to this incident last night. And their apparent marriage woes came several years ago after Fairfax was hit with a slew of sexual assault claims while he was in office in 2019. At least 2 women publicly accused him of sexually assaulting them, and he denied those allegations. But she was going to divorce him. You know, I have no connection to this couple, but I can't stop thinking about their children. You know, and I try to say to my kids, and I hope it sticks the landing. I hope it resonates. No matter what you think is insurmountable, you will not survive this. There is no way. Yes, there always is. Yes, there always is. Because those kids now are going to grow up haunted not just by stories of their father's alleged infidelity, but they probably witnessed a home life that was difficult. And now they have to have a memory of their mom trying to get away and their dad killing her, reportedly. Come on. Come on. Nothing is that bad. Nothing is that bad. And I think every now and again, we just need to take a moment and take a step back and reset. So that's what I'm doing with you today. Nothing that we are going through is something that we cannot survive. Period. I believe that. Coming up in the next segment of this program, you know, it's very interesting because Sean Spicer, who was President Trump's press secretary in his first term for a hot second, he said something yesterday on his podcast that almost sounds like he leaked some pretty interesting information from the Supreme Court. And what he leaked was quite possibly a decision that the justices are making regarding the Voting Rights Act and whether racial gerrymandering is something that should be permissible. If what Sean Spicer leaked holds true, the Democrats are scrambling in a big way because there's not a snowball's chance in hell they'll retake the House. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. What an awful story. You know, it's interesting, too, because the young man who's featured in our good news story today had just about hit rock bottom in his life. Different circumstances, different everything. But he did something. He pivoted. He took action. He made a difference. He identified it and stopped it. And there's always that. You can always do that, right? You can stop. You can stop. You can change. And you can heal, and you can find happiness again. You can. I swear to God. You can. Like, I went through some really, really dark times. But I never felt guilty. I think guilty is probably a tough one to come up. Like, if Justin Fairfax was... I don't know.
I think everybody goes through dark stuff at some point in their life.
I believe in forgiveness. There is forgiveness and redemption, if you're honest about it, I suppose. Go ahead.
I would say suicide is the equivalent to cancer. I think everyone has I knew somebody or it is in my family story.
I think you're right. Yeah. I don't know. That struck me because I remember him. And it's like, I don't understand. Again, like that drive for sex. I don't get it. Because you're obviously not getting what you need at home. And so is it power or is it some ego thing? Like, what is it? I've never had that. I don't understand it. I'm legitimately asking. If you have an answer for me, put it in the comments section so I can read them later. I'm curious. What is it?
I think it's power. And they have that sense of, I'm not going to get caught, or what are they going to do to me? I want it. I'll take it. But you have to be a special kind of creep to roofie a woman, or even not even roofie, even just if a woman says no, like, sorry, like, I don't know. It's like you said, I can't imagine that. Can't imagine looking at a kid going, how you doing?
Yeah, I just, Anywho, bloodflow7.com, game changer, life changer, life improver. The number of people, you know what? I think I just got one through the website, and it's a great testament to Bloodflow 7. And I want to see if I can pull it up here. Manage, let's see, inbox. Ooh, there's been a lot of messages I haven't been paying attention to. I'm so sorry. But you guys have been phenomenal talking about Bloodflow 7. And I will say this, it does change everything that you do, because all of a sudden you can go further. You're not winded. You can carry more. You can walk farther. You're not huffing and puffing because there's actual blood flowing with oxygen to all aspects of your body. And it's that lack of blood flow when people have blockages in their heart, right? That my husband goes in and goes through the femoral or usually the radial artery and goes through and weaves in a thread, and the thread has a balloon in it, and he pumps it up and it opens up, and then that blocks, it throws all of the plaque and whatnot, it's closing it up, breaks it open so that more blood can flow. What do people immediately say? First of all, their color improves. Their quality of life improves. They don't feel like they need to sit down every 2 seconds. They all of a sudden start breathing again. They can move. They can go farther. Their joy of life comes back. This is Bloodflow 7 in a nutshell. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. It's the one thing I take. It's nitric oxide. And that just opens up. It relaxes your blood vessels so more blood can flow through it. Literally, that's the secret sauce. And it changes my world. I'm doing things that I never did before. I'm doing pull-ups. You know, I'm not lifting my body weight just hanging. I can't do that. I don't necessarily have the traps for that. But I can do assisted pull-ups, and I can do them okay. At 56, that's stupid. Well, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Everything there is 30% off. And by the way, this is what the Alpha Gold male looks like. This is the same idea, but this is for men, specifically for men. And this is what it says. complete formula for men of all ages. Okay? Ashwagandha. It's got palmetto fruit extract, fenugreek seed extract, boron citrate. I mean, that's the secret sauce. That's it. Alpha Gold Male from Juvenon. 60 capsules, dietary supplement. Why aren't you taking this, men?
I'm trying. Mine's empty.
Well, why don't you come over here and switch your bottle with mine? See how I'm not playing that bullcrap game anymore? Uh-huh. I like it. These last few hours of the Friday workday with you guys. Thank you for being a part of the program. WendyBellRadio.com if you want to check us out, see the video of Brock and me. Everything's live streamed. We're going to get into this whole Sean Spicer potentially leaking out something pretty significant that I think underscores this whole slow walking, stonewalling, running out the clock idea of the Democratic Party in resisting this president and his administration's objectives, running out the clock as long as they possibly can. Should that happen in the high court? No. No. Should your 3 toxic liberal chicks on the bench be the ones dragging their feet, gumming up the works, and making this president and his administration run through oatmeal to get basic things accomplished? No. Is that the petulant crybaby, I've got no other plays maneuver? Absolutely. And quite frankly, we deserve better. We deserve much better. We just do. I want to get to, before we get to that, this is the latest update from the president regarding these negotiations. I think stuff is going to be signed this weekend. I think this weekend is going to be a hot weekend. I think Ruben Gallego is going to go down this weekend. I think President Trump and this deal with Iran, I think that's going to be solidified this weekend. I think Israel and Lebanon are going to figure stuff out. I think stuff with Cuba is going to happen this weekend. We'll have to watch. But this is what the president said hours ago. Iran has totally agreed to give up its nuclear ambitions. He says a deal is very close. And he said that he would go to Pakistan. He personally would travel to Pakistan, where the mediations have been going on, to seal this deal. Right? Speaking outside the White House, the president said Tehran has now agreed to meet Washington's red line that it will never obtain a nuclear weapon after weeks of sustained military pressure and a sweeping U.S. blockade. It's been 10 days, guys, 10 days. So everybody out there is like, gas prices are so outrageous. Well, we had gas prices that on average, you and I paid $1.11 a gallon more for during the 4 years that Joe Biden was president. I don't remember anybody talking about that then, but oh my gosh, it's been 10 days. What are we going to do? Calm down. It's going to come down, already down to $83 a barrel. So the president said, well, look, Iran wants to make a deal. We'll see. They've totally agreed to everything. They're willing to do things today that they weren't willing to do 2 months ago. And I think it's interesting that now Israel says that it will go and help collect the nuclear dust. So when we pulverized them last fall, right, with that shot, destroyed their nuclear complex, Israel's like, hey, we'll go down and we'll help you out. We'll get all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm down with that. I don't know. There's no time restriction here. He's not saying it's going to be 20 years, and then all of a sudden you can start making nuclear weapons again. That's not going to be on the table. It's like, never. You're never going to do it. You're not going to do it. Not going to do it. But this time, actually, we're going to mean it. And you're not going to fiddle with the Strait anymore, or we're going to blow you up in the middle of next week. Got it? Got it. Great. So that's where that is. We're monitoring it. But I want to get into this story. Is it possible that this former Trump official just revealed the Voting Rights Act decision? So there is this decision, and it's called Louisiana versus Calais. This is a Supreme Court case. It bumped to the Supreme Court in the fall, and they've been chewing on it. And apparently we understand that there is a decision, at least if you listen to Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary. He's on his podcast yesterday, and he dropped something kind of significant. Let me give you the background here from Town Hall's Matt Vespa, one of my favorite journalists. He's great. And this is what he writes for Town Hall. Where is the decision on the Supreme Court case involving the Voting Rights Act? Where is Louisiana versus Calais? This is the case that could weaken the Voting Rights Act and potentially cause Democrats to tremble. Well, the national consequences of this decision are critical, as a ruling striking down the VRA, the Voting Rights Act, could lead to total Republican control across the South. Perhaps that's why the court is slow walking in releasing this opinion. So I'm looking at this map, what would happen without Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And the Section 2 is basically allows racial gerrymandering, right? That you shouldn't have some white guy representing you if your district is primarily black. Well, the high court wants justice to be colorblind. How about you get the best person for you instead of trying to carve it out so that you have a Democrat in that spot? Let's do it differently, right? Sean Spicer said on the podcast, The Huddle, that the high court has in fact come to its decision, but there are some justices who are holding out as long as possible to prevent redistricting. So does that mean that the Voting Rights Act is about to be struck down? Yes, says Sean Spicer. Let's tune in. Let's hear what he says. He says, look, reliable sources have told him that the U.S. Supreme Court has decided to gut Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which mandates majority black congressional districts. Listen.
By the way, total side note on that, just to get on the record on this, I have been told by reliable sources that decision is done and that the minority is slow walking the dissent so that states can't and states do not have time to redistrict ahead of it. But I have been told very reliably that the minority is slow walking that dissent.
All right, wait, hold on a second, because I don't think I've read that anywhere. That is news.
So yeah.
Okay, so just 3, 2, 1. Sean, is there some politics being played at the Supreme Court?
Well, Dan, insiders that I've talked to insist that the minority is slow walking the dissent on the voting rights case because they are trying to ensure that states won't have enough time to redistrict ahead of the 2028 midterms.
Wow. Clip and post.
So does that mean that we won this one? Well, the Calais case revolves around whether the creation of a majority-minority congressional district in Louisiana violates the 14th and the 15th Amendments. So what happens here is a potential Supreme Court weakening of what's called this Section 2 of the 1965 Voting Rights Act could let Republicans redraw these districts, and it could cost Democrats a hell of a lot of seats leading up to the 2026 midterms. And so if the dissenting justices, who we would presume would be Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, all, by the way, box-checking, liberal, college-educated chicks, right? If they're, and I don't mean to demean them that way, but that's exactly who they are, and that's how they behave. That's how they make their decisions, right? So if they're slow walking, writing their dissent so that the court can't go out and make its ruling public, what they're saying is they're trying to slow walk this so it's kind of a cluster ball for the states to change the voting districts in these southern districts. And it's all just very confusing. CNN is on it. This is very interesting. This October 2025 Louisiana versus Calais case arguments suggest conservative justices are skeptical of racial gerrymandering and would instead prefer this colorblind districting that protects partisan advantages. It protects Republican advantages. Well, listen to CNN because they're on the story as well. And they were covering this. This is what, 2025, Brock? This was last year that they were on this. This is how serious this particular case is. CNN was trying to basically blow the lid on this last year. Listen.
The Supreme Court is considering what could really be the end of the Voting Rights Act, which would protect minority groups. So you don't have a state that's half black, for example, that elects only one congressional member and everybody else goes to the Republicans that would represent that population in some ways. So if that is gutted, Democrats could lose 19 seats. This would be a huge amount. But this is also a measure of how much the White House is concerned about this, because Donald Trump knows if the Democrats get the House again, There could be new investigations just like last time. There could be a new impeachment. There could be a lot of impediment to these plans that right now the Republicans in the House and Senate are letting run like a freight train.
Now let's take that and let's dial that back into what we spoke about in hour number 1, where John Solomon came out from Just the News. And he's like, look, I believe there is going to be some supersonic transparency where all these declassified documents are going to come out that tell you the real story of what happened with the first impeachment of this president. That it was made up of garbage hearsay, that the inspector general who was supposed to investigate the story didn't even read the transcript of the phone call, didn't even hear what the president said to Volodymyr Zelensky, all of these ridiculous lapses, right? This is all going to start to come out. And listen to what the Democrats now, desperate to take back the House, so that they can do what? So that they can resist Trump. So they can go after him again. So they can unwind the things that he's already tried to set out there. They're not interested in investigating fraud or waste or abuse. This is why the measure in the Minnesota State House failed to pass a measure to say, hey, we should create an inspector general position who can be an apolitical investigator into this rampant fraud. All the Democrats voted against that. Why? Why do you think? Why do you think? I want to read you this because I found something. It's a story from Ketanji Brown Jackson when Biden decided to pick her. The same CNN that was just warning us last year, which is now a very big story today, that the Supreme Court could strike down this racial gerrymandering and say, look, minority groups don't need protection. Knock it off with this need for some victim class to be represented. Let the voters decide. Let's get it in a different capacity. This is how CNN talked about Joe Biden picking Ketanji Brown Jackson. He didn't pick her because she was brilliant. He didn't pick her because she was a phenomenal, robust, leading, scholarly jurist. He picked her because she was a chick and she was black. It's terrible. It's terrible for me to say that, but it's terrible because it's true. Joe Biden made a deal with Jim Clyburn, right? Joe Biden said, I will give you the first black female vice president, and I will give you the first black female Supreme Court justice if you support me, because by golly, I think I need your support. Joe Biden, whom allegedly won with 81 million votes in a landslide fashion. The CNN article gushes about how wonderful it was that Joe Biden went beyond the box to find Ketanji Brown Jackson, who we now know can't define what a woman is, who's slow walking this decision so that states can't change their districts in advance of the 2026 midterms. Gosh, it's almost like everybody sucks. Oh, because they do. Yeah. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, President Trump on the White House lawn, he says, you know what? They've agreed to everything down to the dust Iran has. Hear from the president himself next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
So logically, if
I think Joe has COVID and he's giving it to me.
What's that?
Sorry. Nothing. Go ahead.
If they gerrymander to make sure black people are represented by a black congressperson, aren't the white people within those districts not being? Yes.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter. You're white.
Like logically, it makes no sense.
The deck is always stacked in your favor. So
I've been looking for my white privilege card. I can't find it anywhere.
Has it given you cheaper taxes?
I have not found it anywhere. I thought I misplaced it.
Right.
But now apparently it just exists.
Oh my God, so hot. The Simkovich Concussion Institute. Can you imagine if having your anxiety tempered, your sensitivity to light and to sound, have that erased, get your memories back, get your anxiety under control, all of a sudden begin sleeping again, working again, being in charge of you again after a traumatic brain injury that feels like it's insurmountable and you'll never be able to be back to who you are. What if one man could do that with his hands, and with a couple of days of your time? Would you be interested in that? Because I would. Absolutely. The healing effects of Dr. Simkovich's treatment, this intense concussion treatment protocol, and it's not intense because it hurts. It's not like that. It's intensive because when Dr. Simkovich says, you know what, I've looked at your MRI and I know I can heal you. I need you to come here for 4 days, book a trip, coordinate with my staff, and we'll make sure you're blocked here 4 days in a row. Multiple hours at a time. That's the intense treatment protocol. We're not going to just float around this. We're diving in. We're fixing you. And at the end of this, you're going to go home healed. You're going to have you back. Okay. 412-366-3700. I'm in. 412-366-3700. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. I guess I should be harder to convince than that. I'd be like, okay, I'm coming with you. I love Dr. Simkovich. He's wonderful. He's wonderful. And the staff is off the charts. If you need an MRI, they'll help you get the MRI.
That's all the doctors we've had.
Mm-hmm.
Their staff
Fantastic.
is always fantastic.
Fantastic. Always. I have to read you this, you guys. I have to read you how CNN gushed over everything Joe Biden did. And it's such a disgusting article, but I need to read it to you guys. I think you need to hear this. Iran's foreign minister has announced the Strait of Hormuz is completely open. That happened fast. 10 days, guys. Give them 10 days.
Hey, when you take all their money.
And now they're trying to stop the everything construction of this ballroom. Literally resist, slow down, gum up, oatmeal, treadmill. Never get off of it. That's the Democrat Party.
Well, you got to be outraged about something.
It's windmills for everybody, roundabouts, cones, and stupid speed humps. Slow you down, piss you off, make everything stupid because that's their jam. Literally make you miserable. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, if everything the Democrats want to do involving winning the midterms is involving getting Trump, doing the same damn thing we've already been through, how do you think the American people are going to take that? Because I'm telling you what, if you want to look at any of these news outlets' ratings, viewership, it's freaking abysmal. It's abysmal. Television, you think newspapers are dead? Television news is on life support, And if they think that covering this, beating the drum of the next impeachment for the one guy who put everything, including his life, on the line because he knew he was the only one who could stop it and save America. And that sounds so like da-da-da, but it's true. If they think that's what America wants, I got news for you. Hell no. That's going to wake up more people. That's going to wake up people like Katie Couric. Did you see her? This is ridiculous. What an idiot. God, is she fallen from being that cute girl on the Today Show to being an abject moron and a toxic one. There's a skyrocketing case of cancer, all sorts of different kinds of cancer. I mean, like, what the heck is going on? Oh, I don't know, Katie. What could it possibly be? Right? What could it be? It's got to be microplastics. Yeah, it's got to be exactly what it is. It's got to be something in the air. How many jabs have you had, sweetness? Are you on your 9th booster? Case closed. I want to read you this. It's obnoxious, but this is the article I got long on. I wanted to read you this. This is how the media, while they don't have any questions about Thomas Crooks, who tried to kill President Trump and killed Corey Comprator. We're not thinking critically about that dude, why he decided to do what he did, who he was, his backstory, his family, all the times, his cell phone or cell phones in his orbit traveled from his house to DC to the FBI field office and back. All these questions, like, I don't know. How does he have no social media footprint, no internet footprint whatsoever, but 5 cell phones? Like, what? They gushed over Ketanji Brown Jackson. My gosh. How about this? This is the headline when Biden came out and was like, I'm such a wonderful man. I'm gonna nominate this woman who's a blithering idiot to be on the high court. And because she's black and a chick, you can't say anything. Kind of like you can't criticize Karine Jean-Pierre, who was a low IQ person of all accounts. President Joe Biden's choice of Ketanji Brown Jackson for the Supreme Court came about like so many of his big decisions, after a long process with a lot of wavering and discussion, and ultimately landing right where he'd been headed from the outset. This is how Biden works. He starts with a strong gut feeling, but then he reads and he asks for more to read. He talks it through seemingly endlessly, repeatedly picking up the phone to consult other people. He'll think about it some more, then maybe just one more call, and eventually he makes up his mind, guided by a sense of fate and poetry that longtime friends and advisors have witnessed time and time again. If only I had some really patriotic, encouraging music to make it sound like Joe Biden was all that and a bag of donuts, it would make it sound so much better. It's totally in line with who he is, said Democrat Senator Gary Peters of Michigan. Biden had a hunch about Jackson's moment of destiny. Early on, friends tell CNN. He noted that she was a former clerk to Justice Stephen Breyer, whom she would replace on the court. The first time she was confirmed by the Senate, she'd been to serve on a sentencing commission that Biden, then a senator from Delaware, had helped create. Her nomination to be the first Black woman on the court could come in Black History Month. Oh my gosh. A bow to freedom and to liberty at home right when those values were under attack. Oh my gosh. I hope the moron who wrote this, let's go back and see who this idiot was. Edward Isaac Dover. Edward he has a hyphenated name. He seems very in touch with his masculinity. Oh, Edward. Honest to God. See, this is why pay close attention when everybody's piling on one narrative and CNN and MSNBC are there covering it hot and heavy. But then there's other really important stories, like this sudden spike in multiple kinds of cancer. How did that happen? Like, oh, I don't know, everything that you and I ask questions about. It's not supposed to be this fun, and it certainly isn't supposed to be this easy to make the Democrats sound and look stupid, but they do it so easily for us. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, this is very interesting. Finally, the White House and President Trump are addressing this idea of now an 11th scientist found murdered in relation to this aliens, NASA, all of this stuff. What does the president say? What is going on? He says, we're going to get you an answer here shortly. What he said. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. The gushing and the, we're going to put a Superman chest. We're going to put S on your chest. And out you go. And it's like Joe Biden was in his freaking hyperbaric chamber. So he didn't read and reread and consult people, then go back to it and toss and turn at night and walk the hallway of the West Wing. I don't know, Dr. Jill. It's such a heavy decision. What do you think I should do? He's like, Jim Clyburn, dude, I'm getting my ass handed to me. Black people aren't voting for me because they know I suck. I need help. And Clyburn was like, ooh, leverage. I do like leverage. Well, we'll deliver the black vote to you if you make sure we have a black VP and a black justice chick. And he was like, done. Like, you don't mean to tell me that there was a better black woman than Ketanji Brown Jackson? You don't mean to tell me that Harvard couldn't have picked a better president than Claudine Gay? Come on. Really? Was Michael Regan, whatever his name was he really the best administrator of FEMA or whatever he was? Douche. Okay. Here's a butt shot just because I can. This is also a good one, before and after. The before is the bottom. After is up top. These guys lost like 215 pounds. Look at that. That's crazy. That's crazy. This guy, I think, is this guy. But look at this turn. This guy. Look at Meaty there. That's pretty crazy. 200 and something pounds among the three of them. By going on their lunch break and working out instead of, sitting out there and eating fast food. Going and lifting weights and working out. MoreGainsFitness.com. Tomorrow is the big day. That's the big birthday party, 14th birthday. Richland, Pennsylvania location, Johnstown location. She's got everything: food trucks, bourbon, beer, coffee, free exercise classes, free body composition analysis, free everything. Great deals on membership specials, raffles. I mean, Kelly Morgan doesn't do anything half-assed. So if you're looking for something awesome to do tomorrow, yeah. Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Kelly Morgan, More Gains Fitness, go. Congratulations, Kelly, on 14 years of living your life your way. Love it. Oh, shucks. Hopefully he'll get, I need to get to the bathroom. Right now it says market surge, oil plunges on Iran deal hopes. So this is going to be another one of those blockbuster weekends. We're going to go to bed on Friday or tonight. We're going to be like, and then all of a sudden it's going to be boop, 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 breaking news. I think so. Hey, by the way, I would be remiss if I didn't celebrate the life of Captain George Boyle. He was a Pittsburgher who was part of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. And many years ago, when I was on local television for the ABC station, he helped in his boat save a family that was about to go over a 12-foot drop on a lock and dam. They were about to go over, and he saw them, and he and several others lassoed their boat and pulled them to safety literally moments before they went over and would have died. Mom, dad, kids never knew who the people were. Literally, they didn't even say, I'm not even so sure they were like, thank you. They just Scoobied away and sailed and motored away. And this gentleman, George Boyle, basically made the move that saved their lives. He passed away yesterday in his 90s. And he was a badass when he was in his 70s, when Ari Height, the guy I used to work with, did the story. So his family reached out to me. I remember George Boyle. Rest in peace, George. You were a hero on many levels, This story is, this is one of those stories. 11th person, you guys. What is going on with that? Right? Oh my God, I have such a painful. I wish you had one of those guns. One of those like
percussion guns.
They are miserable. Woo, they're fantastic. It's like, wow. And that's not even a pleasure pain thing. That's a, and then afterwards being like, oh, please make it better. I agree. Well, I've got a lot still to talk about here.
Stock market's up.
Mm-hmm. Ireland contracting 1-800 new roof. My roof starts next Friday. Monday, I've got to go and take a field trip to Ireland Contracting to their showroom, and got to take some pictures of the brick on my house and some of the trim, so we can choose the right color shingle, the right everything. I've heard about midnight plum. I've heard about bourbon. I don't know what their color is this year. I don't know. But Ireland Contracting, 1-800 new roof, IrelandContracting.com. I wouldn't tell you to call them if I wasn't using them myself. So this will be the 4th or the 5th time I've used Ireland Contracting at my house, and they've never disappointed me. Ever disappointed me. They have the most remarkable Amish installers. These guys are carpenters, like to the nth degree. If they can raise a barn in a day, you know that they can do your roof. And that's who's going to be doing my roof. So I'm super geeked. And then when the rain happens, I'm not going to be on pins and needles. So we finally did the French drains. That's part of the problem. Now we got to fix it from the top. IrelandContracting.com, 1-800 new roof. I do love them.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live on your Friday. A delight to wrap up the week with you. Look, we got to have serious conversations, and I hope the White House is ready to drop it soon about these UFO-linked scientists who are ending up disappeared or dead, because now there's an 11th one. Do you guys hear about this? An 11th scientist, UFO-linked scientist who warned my life is in danger before she was found dead at 34, becomes the 11th mysterious case. A scientist experimenting with anti-gravity technology was found dead at the age of 34 after warning that her life could be in danger, marking another mysterious case of deaths and disappearances in recent years. This is the Daily Mail. Amy Eskridge, who was just 34 years old when she allegedly died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head in Huntsville, Alabama on June 11th, 2022. However, neither the police nor the medical examiners have publicly released any details of an investigation ever taking place. So we're going backwards. We're connecting dots. There are more of these coming forward. The same way more whistleblowers are coming forward, more truth tellers are coming forward. What's going on with these scientists? Before her death, Amy Eskridge was openly researching and trying to develop anti-gravity technology, a way to control or cancel out gravity, which could revolutionize space travel and energy production. Space travel, energy production, those are very key in all of these. Anti-gravity propulsion has been widely discussed by UFO researchers who have claimed that this advanced technology is what allows alien spacecraft to achieve impossible speeds. Look, you can laugh at me all you want and be like, you guys are crazy. I'm telling you, you're burying your head in the sand if you discount what I'm telling you. This stuff has been widely known for more than 80 years. There are at least 1,000 various spacecraft that are documented at the National Archives. Why are we not allowed to talk about this? Why are you called something radical if you do? Well, the bodies are piling up. Conspiracy theorists, which usually means truth tellers, have also claimed that the U.S. military has been experimenting with this technology for years. The government has denied that alien technology exists. Well, your government's been lying to you. In 2020, Eskridge stated that she was planning to present novel foundational work regarding anti-gravity, but needed approval from NASA. Since her passing, shocking details, including an unearthed interview with Eskridge herself and independent findings submitted to Congress, have claimed that the death was not a suicide. Shocker alert. And was instead part of an elaborate murder conspiracy. Again, kind of hush-hush. Kind of like Thomas Crooks. Shh. Since her passing, shocking details, right? Her own death marks the 11th person with ties to America's space or nuclear secrets who has died or just mysteriously vanished in recent years, putting U.S. national security experts on edge. I'm looking at a picture of her. She's a cutie. Young woman, freckled face, darling, kind of a brown bob. The Daily Mail has reached out to Eskridge's family as well as medical officials in Huntsville for comment on the circumstances surrounding her death. The scientist also claimed that she specifically co-founded her research company, the Institute for Exotic Science, to create a public-facing persona to disclose anti-gravity technology. Apparently, somebody didn't want the public to know about anti-gravity technology, right? Any more than they want to have the public know about reverse engineering things, because apparently these spacecraft, alien spacecraft that has been witnessed by people at sea and farmers at night, can go from 0 to gone before you can blink. How does that happen without a sound, without a whisper of wind? And can you imagine if we could harness that technology, we wouldn't be beholden to oil, natural gas, and other things. If you stick, well, Eskridge said during this podcast, if you stick your neck out in public, at least somebody notices if your head gets chopped off. If you stick your neck out in private, they'll bury you. They'll burn down your house while you're sleeping in your bed, and it won't even make the news. That's why the Institute exists. The institute that she created, the Institute for Exotic Science. She thought if she put it out there for everybody to see, they wouldn't be so brazen and to take her out. She was wrong. She apparently killed herself after warning that she felt her life was in danger, because you know those two things add up. The Institute for Exotic Science has apparently closed, shocker, since its co-founder's death, and its website is no longer accessible. Files of the company's records and mission statement have emerged online, including detailed studies of anti-gravity propulsion and pictures of alleged UFO-inspired aircraft. Eskridge had founded the institute with her father, Richard Eskridge, a retired NASA engineer who specialized in plasma physics and fusion technology, another form of advanced propulsion. He reportedly served as the lab's chief technology officer. I wonder if he's still alive. In 2018, Eskridge and her father delivered a presentation on behalf of their company, Holocron Engineering, describing both historical and modern experiments related to gravity modification, including alleged black projects said to be developing triangular anti-gravity craft known as the TR-3B. Eskridge spoke in 2020 in a podcast interview where she had detailed a plan for the public disclosure of UFOs and extraterrestrials. She feared the threats against her were growing more and more dire. Eskridge said, I need to disclose soon, man. I need to publish soon because it's like escalating. It's getting more and more aggressive. This has been going on for like 4 or 5 years. And over the past 12 months, it's been accelerating, escalating, like more aggressive, more invasive, digging through my underwear drawer and sexual threats. What? They were trying to intimidate her into silence. And I guess she didn't get the message. So she, quote unquote, killed herself? Before her death, Eskridge contacted retired British intelligence officer Frank Milburn for help investigating the incidents of harassment and intimidation she was allegedly the victim of, with Milburn ultimately concluding that her death was not from suicide, right? Both Eskridge and Milburn documented multiple occasions where she'd been subjected to physical and psychological attacks, including an unknown suspect firing a directed energy weapon at her, causing burns across her body using powerful microwaves. Milburn, where the hell was the coverage of this? Again, I direct you back to Thomas Crooks. What they don't want you to know, they don't cover. Milburn's findings were submitted to Congress by independent investigators in 2023. Journalist Michael Schellenberger testified before a public hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena that Eskridge was murdered by a private aerospace company in the United States because she was involved in a UAP conversation, the, of course, alien unidentified phenomenon. Milburn said on the fringe science radio show Coast to Coast AM, somebody was after her work. It was either one or two main objectives. One, trying to get her to desist from doing the work. And two, with these attacks, with the harassment and the direct energy weapon attacks, to actually stop her, to debilitate her so she was unable to do the work. How's that different than what Thomas Crooks was trying to do on July 13th of 2024? Eskridge's story appears to continue a growing trend of dead scientists who were researching key areas of technology or space exploration around the time that they were murdered or found dead. Since Eskridge died in 2022, 5 other prominent researchers have died, including 2 who were murdered in their own homes. I want you to hear Peter Doocy asking President Trump about this yesterday, hours before news of this 11th murder or disappearance broke. He said, what about all these missing scientists, Mr. President? What do you know? Listen.
There are these 10 missing scientists with access to classified stuff, nuclear material, aerospace. They've all gone missing or turned up dead in the last couple months. Based on what you've been briefed, what do you think is happening here? And do you think that this is connected or totally random?
Well, I hope it's random, but we're going to know in the next week and a half. I just left the meeting on that subject, so pretty serious stuff. But we're going to be hopefully, I don't know, coincidence, if you whatever you want to call it. But some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it over the next short period.
You guys believe for a minute that he's not completely briefed on every single thing that's going on? You think that a 2-star general, William Neal McCaslin, who once oversaw some of the military's most advanced and highly classified research programs, just vanished from his Albuquerque home, that his wife came home after being gone for an hour and he had left his cell phone behind and his glasses, but went out on a hike with a loaded pistol? It's almost like somebody had contacted him and said, you best come out and meet me somewhere. And don't bring your phone. Oh, kind of like Madison Cawthorn with the capital orgies. Come on, Madison. You're invited to participate. Just leave your phone at the door. Huh. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, what is the White House doing about this? Well, they say they're going to have an answer by the end of the month. Let's read about that. What do they know? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I'm sorry, guys. It's just all so like really. Let me tell you about Health Revolution. This is one of those things that if you're sitting at your computer, this is just smart to jot down. Info. Literally put it on open up a new window and go up to your toolbar. Info.healthrevolution.net. Click return and then hit your bookmark page. Bookmark this page, Health Revolution. What's Health Revolution? Health Revolution is an answer to the disaster that was the Affordable Care Act. There was nothing affordable about it. It didn't give you better coverage. It didn't give you better doctors. It didn't give you less money that you had to pay. It was a big suck. It was another Democrat bait and switch. It was a grift, and you and I paid for it, and it sucks. And this group, Health Revolution, they're like, you know what? We're going to fix this. We're going to answer everybody who's stuck in this terrible plan. We're going to give them an option, and here's the option. Enroll whenever you want. There's no parameters. You decide. You call 800-868-6187 right there on your screen, or you go to info.healthrevolution.net, enter some information about yourself, and they're going to talk to you about what your needs are. Well, how old are you? Are you under the age of 65? Because if you are, we can help you. Are you self-employed? Are you on COBRA? Are you paying for your own everything right now? Do you have a family? Are you getting bent over with high deductibles and copays? Well, good luck, because there are no copays with these plans. They're built around you, what you need. You choose the coverage. It's like the ultimate a la carte for you. Your needs, and the deductibles are not astronomical. There aren't any copays, and people save hundreds of dollars a month, often 30 to 60% off what they currently pay. Hello? You have nothing to lose, right? Except a terrible plan that doesn't suit you, that costs too much. 800-868-6187. Health Revolution. Info.healthrevolution.net. Again, no hidden surprises. No, well, you have to get it between here and here. It's got to be a waxing moon on a leap year, right? Before the crocus come up and bloom. Crocuses, I know. Info.healthrevolution.net. I think it's yes. Yes, yes, yes. Quite delicious. If you're not drinking Dr. Gundry's with us every day, but you're drinking water, I have to ask you why. Why are you not drinking Dr. Gundry? It's a dietary supplement. It crushes your appetite, right? You're not going to eat. You're not going to be hungry. You're going to drink it and be like, that is delicious. And then when you find out that Dr. Gundry lost 70 odd pounds drinking it, that he's seen thousands of people do the same thing, you're going to be like, how do I get that again? It's called thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. I'm already blasting through it because Brock and I drink it every single day.
It is good.
It is good. 3 delicious flavors, but it's the benefit. Lose weight, lose significant weight. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Watch the video. You have to watch the video to get through to the discount, which is 20%. The video is like, and it's a weekend. So this is the perfect time for you to, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to wake up a little early, make a cup of coffee, maybe sit on the patio, listen to the birds wake up, and I'm going to watch this video and I'm going to learn about all the stuff I think I'm doing that I'm not supposed to be doing for my body. And then I'm going to get this MCT Wellness, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Every single day. I have it at home. I drink it at home. Right? You can. I have an extra one. You can have it at home. I have to go to the bathroom really badly. Notice how good I've been? I've been holding it really, really well. Brock hasn't been handling it very
What are you talking about?
How many times have you already been up, yo?
Once.
Oh. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. And I realize that talking about UFOs and ETs and like close encounters of the third, all of the stuff that you think that you've seen, Ghostbusters, like all this stuff you're thinking about, weird technology. I think there's a great deal of truth to all of that. Maybe not the Ghostbusters stuff, but the alien stuff. I agree with that. I believe in that. And if you go to the National Archives, this stuff is about to be declassified. Anna Paulina Luna, dog on a bone, trying to get the Pentagon, release these 46 videos. so that the American people know what's going on, because you have a right to know. The story from Fox: Susan Wilkerson was gone for just about an hour when her husband, retired Air Force Major General William Neal McCasland, who once oversaw some of the military's most advanced and highly classified research programs, reportedly vanished from their Albuquerque home. McCasland, who's 68, left his phone behind, but he had his wallet and a .34 caliber revolver with him, according to the Bernalillo County, New Mexico Sheriff's Office. It's probably Bernalillo, whatever, I don't know. The general previously had said he was experiencing what he's described as mental fog, according to investigators, but authorities stressed that there was no indication he was disoriented at the time of his disappearance. Arguably, he would still be the most intelligent person in the room, Albuquerque Police Lieutenant Kyle Woods said March 16th. But McCasland's disappearance is one of 10 recent cases involving scientists tied to U.S. military and government research that have drawn attention, including at the White House, where officials now say they're looking into the matter after being asked about a potential pattern. I hope it's random. But we're going to know in the next week and a half, President Trump told reporters yesterday. He just played it for you. I just left a meeting on that subject, he said. The National Nuclear Security Administration told Fox News Digital it's also investigating. They say we're aware of reports related to employees of our labs, plants, and sites. We're looking into the matter. And then it goes into kind of a timeline of all of these people. I want you to hear this, though. Here's Laura Ingraham. You know, I don't know. I cannot tell you if CBS and ABC and CNN and all of those people, I don't know if those traditional liberal news outlets are covering this story. But it's got to be discussed. It can't be Thomas Crooks away, right? This is James Gagliano. He is a retired FBI special agent. He's talking to Laura Ingraham yesterday, and he's like, look, I doubt that these 11 dots are just some random coincidence. They all have to be connected. And the way I see it from where I'm sitting, the picture that these dots make is dark.
So this cluster of scientists, engineers, military figures, all tied to pretty important research. What are you thinking tonight?
So, Laura, this is crazy. I mean, it sounds like it was ripped off the front pages of a supermarket tabloid. And look, we always have to be careful in investigations. Correlation does not necessarily equate to causality, but from July of 2023 until February of 2026, 10 of these folks, and these are, Laura, these are 10-pound brains. These are people that literally split atoms in their spare time. They work for government contracting programs. They're in the military. And for 10 of them to meet their demise or to disappear, look, Occam's razor is always in effect when you're doing investigations. It's usually the simplest solution. I don't believe in aliens coming down and snatching them up. I don't believe that they're quarantined at Area 51. However, what do foreign agents do when they're here in this country? They set about to conduct sabotage, espionage, and acts of terror. This is something that you can tell when the FBI says no comment. Read between the lines there. That tells me that there's an investigation ongoing right now.
And I think this is sort of like, why do you think they were so anti-ivermectin? It's sort of the same vein. You're going to tell me that there's a medication out there that's in abundant supply, that is safe even for the elderly, children, and pregnant women, that costs pennies on the dollar to make, that is a huge anti-whatever, the parasitic, that also cuts back the rates of cancer for such and such, you want to tell me that, or you're going to tell me it's going to fix this whole COVID nightmare so people don't have to go get the jab that made billionaires out of a lot of people and caused how many problems? It's called Katie Couric. Maybe she's been hit in the head with a frying pan, right? They don't want you well. They don't want you knowing about very cheap ways to get around. They don't want you paying zero energy costs. They don't want you healthy, because if you are sick, there's a million things we can do that's going to cost money, that's going to equal a grift, that's an opportunity for people who are dangerous and dirty to steal from us. This isn't a coincidence. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, I don't trust the media, but I do trust Catherine Herridge, and she sits down with Anna Paulina Luna next.
There will definitely be a pet show tomorrow. I'm not sure about Sunday. I know has a charity event Saturday night, so I don't know. So we'll have to ask the boss when she comes back. I don't know if you guys saw the story of Gavin Newsom's book sales. I got to call it up. Gavin Newsom's PAC dropped $1.56 million to buy 67,000 copies of his own memoirs and hand them out to donors. That's roughly 2/3 of all his book sales. Oh my gosh. Tell me people don't care about you without saying people don't care about you. Total book sales were around 97,000. They just don't care about you, Gavin. I mean, if you're looking at a presidential run, that should be a dead giveaway that you probably shouldn't. When nobody wants to buy your book and nobody cares, not a good look, Gavin. Not a good look. People were asking about a Sunday show.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
You're busy Saturday night.
So. Yeah, we've got a fundraiser for the high school. This is like our last. I bet you we'll go. I bet you we'll go still after the kids graduate.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know. It's not like I go back to their other school.
Well, didn't they?
Do you want to keep them all?
No. I'll let you.
Okay. Do you have enough?
I should.
Do you want an extra page?
No. The printer crapped the bed this morning. So.
Yeah, it's another thing we got to get. Another thing we got to get. That's all right. Disinfectwithsniper.com, you guys. Disinfect. So this is my favorite. I'm going to tell you what my favorite new use is for Sniper. Okay? So I literally almost vomited when I saw there was a pool of like sludge. So when you have a front loader, you guys know it's got that gray ring, the rubber ring in the beginning, like in the front of it. And there was a well of filthy brown mush. And I was like, ew, what's that? So I put paper towels in there to soak it up. And I ended up like going like that in the ring of that. And so I was like, this is the most disgusting thing. So now every time I do a load of laundry, Joe and I do our laundry and the kids all do their own. So probably one every 4 or 5 loads. I spray it all down. I spray the tray that comes out underneath it where mold and grows. And then I go in that rubber, blah, 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 and my washing machine does not have mold, it's not brown, and it's not stinky. Thank you, Sniper.
Wow.
I love you, Sniper. So our friend wants to put together some kind of a deal for you for Mother's Day, and he's trying to figure out what it is. What should it be? He should start selling something that I like.
A broom.
Wow.
Mother's Day. Maybe some dishcloths.
Why would you say a broom?
So you can sweep up.
Oh. I do need a good broom, but I don't want like one of those big long ones. I don't know. Maybe,
Dishwashers.
Dishwashers?
Well, for mothers.
Wow, that's sexist.
Wow.
That's what they think of us. Literally, that's what they think of us. That's what I am. I'm a food maker. Right?
For everybody else.
I'm a food maker. Oh, really? What did I bring for you on Monday? Steak, mushrooms, and broccolini. He didn't tell you about that, did he? Oh, he wasn't invited. That's right. He was playing the victim card.
What about the next day?
You brought pretzel shop.
Chicken salad.
Yeah, it was delicious. I appreciate that. Thank you. See how normal people interact? They're grateful for what they get. Oh. Wow. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfectwithsniper.com. You know, I was just thinking when I was in the ladies' room during the commercial break. I know, great visual. Sorry. And welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I was just thinking about how idiotic so many of the stories that the left has tried to push on us have been. I mean, the things that they expect you to believe, that Joe Biden was rigorous, that he was in charge. The guy was he was nonstop. He was in the back doing backflips, riding a unicycle and juggling plates and flamethrowers. Guy was incredible. Long division, all sorts of stuff. Just in his head. I mean, it was crazy. And then you would watch him and he shuffled around like a robot and didn't know where the bejeebers he was. But he's sharp as a tack. And Nancy Pelosi lied to your face how many times about that? What else did they tell you? They told you that the border was it was closed. The border's fine. Alejandro Mayorkas under oath. Border's closed. It's perfect. And then what did you see? If you scroll through your news feed, you'd see nighttime video from Oscar Blue or anybody else. Bill Malusian down on the border showing the evening video, the body cam video or the heat video of all the people streaming across the river and the country. And you're like, what? It's not closed. They tell you everything. Everything they tell you is garbage. It's a lie. And it's so stupid, right? You're not allowed to criticize people like KJP, Corinne Jean-Pierre, because she's gay, black, an immigrant and whatever. She has a lisp. No, you're bad at your job. Get better people. Right? And they tried to tell you that you could trust the media, that you should believe what they say, that when all of them are saying the same thing, it must be true. And when all of them ignore a story, it must not be. Now, you know better than that, and you know how to flip-flop that. If everybody's talking about the same thing, you're being set up. If nobody's talking about something else, that's where we're interesting, right? That's where we're interested. That's what's going on right now. Let's talk about this. Catherine Herridge, outed from her job because she wanted to dig into the Hunter Biden laptop. That wasn't allowed. She had access. She had gotten the hard drive. She had dug into it. She had her own investigators. She was ready to roll. She went to her bosses at CBS and she was like, look, and they were like, And then not that long after that, not only was she fired, she was escorted out. Her personal belongings seized and her home or work computer and all that stuff also taken by CBS. Why? Like you're afraid of her exposing something. So what did she do? She created her own show. And it's called, what is it? Straight something or other. Straight to the point. So her video, her new efforts, Catherine Herridge, great reporter, is sitting down with Anna Paulina Luna. And she's like, look, I want to know, basically woman to woman, how bad is it on Capitol Hill? Tell me about Eric Swalwell. What was his reported behavior just an open secret in Congress? What's the true story? And she gets it from Anna Paulina Luna, the congresswoman from Florida. Listen.
Was Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell's alleged sexual misconduct an open secret on Capitol Hill?
From what we're hearing with all the women coming forward, from his staff that has actually reached out to my office in support of what I did, and then also from commentary, for example, of Kevin McCarthy, the former speaker, it seems as much.
Did the Democrats protect Congressman Swalwell because he was useful until it became too much?
I don't think that there's any way that they didn't know about that. So how it works in politics for people that might not know the process is usually if someone's then going to run for higher office, even when you're running for Congress, there's opposition research files where you basically go through and you can pull test vulnerabilities, see if things can be used as like kill shots in campaigns, right? I think that the opposition research that was out there on Swalwell, especially because it was such an openly discussed secret, I think they knew about it.
What was the tipping point? Was the California governor's race the tipping point?
For me specifically, how I guess this kind of transpired is on Thursday, I think it was, I saw a second person come forward regarding Representative Tony Gonzalez. And then on Friday, I think it was, the news started breaking on Swalwell. And I got so frustrated because for us that are actually trying to do good work and trying to actually root out corruption, all of that, it is such a disservice to the American people and also to the institution in regards to integrity that I was like, I'm just going to do the motion to expel. At this point in time, I saw the video circulating. So to be clear, the way that both the expulsions were written for both Tony and Swalwell, it was on violation of Congressional Code of Conduct for inappropriate relationships with staffers. For me, the tipping point was I'm not going to serve with these men. I knew it was going to start a chain reaction for expulsion of other members, but I look at this like a purge.
These 5 women have come forward. The California accuser alleges she was raped and drugged. The Manhattan DA is getting involved. Is the Swalwell matter quickly becoming a potential criminal matter?
I think it's already a criminal investigation based on who I have referred to the DOJ that they should talk to regarding some of the stuff that we're hearing about who recorded that infamous hotel video. And then there was an issue of him being basically handled by foreign intelligence, the Chinese spy. Mm-hmm. And so I think when you're looking at Swalwell as not just a target of a honeypot operation, but also what he was doing, I definitely think that there's a criminal investigation taking place currently.
Have more women come forward to your office?
No more women have come forward to my office about Swalwell. I did hear of a woman in particular, and I'm actually trying to see if she'd be willing to talk with me regarding a sitting senator, and that is something that I've already, as a courtesy, flagged for John Thune, because in my opinion, first of all, I do not have the bandwidth to do all of this, and also this is supposed to be something that congressional ethics is supposed to be doing, but with the nature of the allegation, as well as close proximity to Swalwell, I, as due diligence, forwarded that.
You know, when I listen to this, I hear an Anna Paulina Luna who's like, I cannot be the only one in this chamber who's unwilling to accept, well, honey, that's just the way it always goes, right? I'm sorry, you just don't understand business as usual. It's standard operating and you're either in or you're out. She's like, look, I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the time to be the investigator of this chamber. I don't have the time to be the conduit through which whistles are blown. However, America deserves to know how filthy this body has become. How on earth can anyone represent you, honestly, if they're stealing from the American people, like Sheila Shrefilis McCormick $5 million. We're going to wring our hands about this one. Why? If you steal, you steal. George Santos, why was he kicked out? Well, he was probably a political firebrand, right? But he also lied about stuff, created a fictitious account of who he was and what he was, and used campaign funds ostensibly to run his whatever. All right? And so he got the boot. Okay. How about these other people? You have credible allegations of sexual assault, of rape, of abuse, of extortion, of God knows what, stalking. How many of these people in Congress have dipped into that slush fund that you and I never approved our tax money to go into, right? To defend themselves from litigation, from staffers or others. And how is it okay for the people in Capitol Hill to be so predatory that they had to cancel the PAGE program? We had to cancel that cute program where young people could come from high school. Kids maybe 14, 15, 16 years old could come to the Capitol and sit in on this or that and get a vibe on it. Because there was too many predators. Catherine Herridge says this too about corruption in Congress. How bad is it? Catherine asks.
On Capitol Hill, is there a culture of misconduct and corruption?
I think up until recently, people, the powers that be, maybe were concerned about numbers, specifically how it could impact each party. Right now, though, people are so fed up with having to answer questions on this or being associated with it because we don't want to even be associated with these people. We are not the same. That there is for the first time ever, a general consensus that we can at least agree on that these people all need to go. And so again, I've been saying this publicly, but the best way to describe it is it's time to take out the trash.
Time to take out the trash, ladies and gentlemen. Change is coming. And that is most assuredly what scares the deep state the most. You guys know this. He goes on the road to share good news with people. This time he goes far west. He goes to Honolulu, Hawaii, where a young man's battle with addiction actually led to a most unlikely therapy. I love Steve. He goes through so many different avenues to tell great stories. Just wonderful. Hey, Kay, we're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, it is your Bad Joke Friday. Don't miss it. Next. I love him. Love, love, love him. Oh, Wendy Bell's favorites, tulip blooms. I think they put it together. Mother's Day special, build mom's basket. Create a gift she'll actually use, love, and come back to. Choose from Wendy's favorites. Bundle them together and save because the best gifts are the ones chosen with intention. You pick any three.
And on sale.
Pick any three things that I like. 10% off. Pick any 4, 15% off. Pick any 5, 20% off. My favorites. Are you ready? The Velour Therapeutic Oil is the one she reaches for first, the anchor of her routine. The rest, trusted staples that support, restore, and keep her skin steady. Simple, intentional, and chosen because they work. So the Velour Therapeutic Oil, the castor blend, they have it now down to $30, $20 off. What? The Blue Calm Face Oil, 60%. The Satin Balm. This is the Satin Balm. It's delicious. Absolutely delicious. Glow, smooth, restore. Oh my gosh. Yes, Mother's Day special. And they even do this for the tired mom, get Velour and the Blue Calm. For the self-care mom, get the body butter and Rainfall. For the glow mom, get the vitamin C and the castor blend.
Kate likes the butter.
So good.
Something about her elbows and
It's even part. It says right here. It says Wendy's favorites. I love that. And then it has all of the things: castor blend, rainfall, the epic moisture, creamy body butter, the blue calm face oil, the satin balm. Where do I have that? Satin balm. I take them home. I bring them in to show you, and then I take them home with me because I like them and I use them at home. That's true. Brock can attest to it. They've got the mineral soak, the tulip soothe. I really like these products. I think you're going to really enjoy them. So again, tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. You're going to, it's all there. Valid through May 11th. Build Mom's basket this Mother's Day.
if you click on the Mother's Day special, you go down to Wendy Bell's favorites.
That's awesome. What's Ashley's favorites? She's the creator of the company. Let's see what she likes. She likes the castor blend. She likes the Epic Moisture body butter and the blue face oil. Oh, she's got everything I like. Way to copy me.
Yeah, really.
How about an original thought, owner lady? Oh, it's exciting. They have candles too. I've never had one of their candles, but I did get one for my sister.
You better tell Jolene.
That it's on?
Yeah.
Why is that? She's ready?
Oh. I tempted her with the massage oil.
Oh.
I gave her a squirt.
Yes.
My brother was not happy.
No, he doesn't mind her getting something lovely.
He was upset.
Oh, gosh. Tom, grow up.
Well, wow.
Kick his butt next time I see him. Radio program. We do it every Friday. It's the last part before we send you off onto hopefully a peaceful, safe, wonderful weekend. It's Bad Joke Friday.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just flew in from New York and boy, my arm's tired. I'm joking, of course. Anywho, welcome to the Comedy Club. Don't you give it up to Wendy and Brock for Bad Joke Friday.
Well, our first joke is always from the lovely and talented Dr. Richard Rafferty from the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. While shopping in the grocery store, two nuns happened to walk past the beer cooler. One said to the other nun, "Wouldn't a nice cold beer or two taste wonderful on a hot summer evening?" The second nun replied, "It would indeed, sister, but I'd feel uncomfortable buying beer. I'm sure it would create a scene at the checkout." Well, the first nun smiled and said, "I can handle that." She grabbed a six-pack, marched to the register, the cashier kind of stunned as the two nuns stepped up with the beer. "We use it to wash our hair," the nun said with a straight face.
She lied.
It's sort of a shampoo, she says. Without missing a beat, the cashier reached under the counter, tossed in a pack of pretzel sticks, and said, "The curlers are on the house."
A nun lied.
I know.
There are 3 rings to marriage: the engagement ring, the wedding ring,
Oh, no.
and the suffering.
Really? Look at you with that stupid look on your face. You
It's
think
the
that's
only look I
funny.
have. I'm just someone else sent it in. I didn't write it.
The teacher wants to show the class how harmful alcohol is. She takes 2 glasses, one with water, one with schnapps. She puts a worm in each glass. The worm in the water swims happily around while the worm in the schnapps writhes briefly, then sinks dead to the bottom. "Now, children," asks the teacher, "what can we learn from this?" A little Johnny immediately answers, "Well, if you drink schnapps, you won't get worms."
That's okay.
Okay.
A woman attempted to cut off her boyfriend's wiener. She was charged with a misdemeanor.
Oh my gosh. Nice try. What's the difference between arguing with your wife and arguing with a knife? One of them has a point.
That's not funny. What's the difference between a well-dressed man on a unicycle and a poorly dressed man on a bicycle?
Oh, I don't know.
Attire.
A man asks his iPhone, Siri, why am I single? Siri activates the front camera. Oh, that's not very funny. After 10 years,
yeah, it is.
After 10 years, a mother began to suspect her son really wasn't hers. She did a DNA test, and sure enough, he wasn't. So she confronted her husband, who said, babe, don't you remember when we were leaving the hospital, the baby pooped? You told me to change him. So I went inside, found a clean one, left the dirty one there. And that is when the wife fainted. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week.
I was at a restaurant yesterday when suddenly needed to toot. The music was really loud, so I timed my toot with the beat. After a few minutes, I started feeling better. I finished my coffee and noticed everybody was staring at me. Then I realized I was listening to my headphones.
A man,
That's funny.
That's terrible. A man was seated next to a kid on an airplane, and the man turned to him and said, let's talk. The kid replied, okay, what do you want to talk about? The man said, making fun of the kid, said, how about nuclear power? Well, the kid thought, interesting. It's a pretty interesting subject, and said, okay, well, let me ask you a question first. A horse, cow, and deer, they all eat grass, yet the deer excretes pellets, cows, flat patties, and horse clumps. Why? The man thought and answered, I don't know. The kid asked, do you really feel qualified enough to discuss nuclear issues when you don't know crap?
All right. A woman gets pulled over for speeding. The officer says, ma'am, can I see your license? She replies, I don't have one. It was revoked for drunk driving. Officer is stunned. Can I see your registration for the car? It's not mine, she said. I stole it, and the owner's body is in the trunk. The officer backs away, calls for backup. Soon the chief police arrives. He approaches the car. Ma'am, my officer said you have no license, a stolen car, and a body in the trunk. The woman looks confused and hands him her valid license and registration. They check the trunk. It's empty. The woman sighs. I bet that liar told you I was speeding too.
Oh my goodness. How about this one? I broke my finger last week. On the other hand, I'm okay. Stupid. My therapist says I have a preoccupation with vengeance. We'll see about that. Have a great weekend, everybody. Love you. Peace.